Welcome to the American Conference on ESPN. A big day in Dallas as President George Bush in attendance today for the coin toss here at Gerald Ford Stadium as we get set for today's game between the midshipmen of Navy and the SMU Mustangs. Well, Navy sits atop the West Division as we come into this game today. It is the very first conference game for Coach Sonny Dykes and his SMU team. A big day here in Dallas. The president is here, and so is one of the most dynamic junior quarterbacks in the country, Navy's Mychal Perry.
Mychal Perry's big playability going to be on display alongside the hopeful upside of William Brown for SMU as they look for the young quarterback to continue to build off that second half performance against Michigan.
It's a new era in SMU football with Sonny Dykes coming in, inheriting a team that went to a bowl game a year ago. It's been a rough start early, an 0-3 start thus far for this SMU team. And today they've got their hands full with that young man from Tennessee, Mychal Perry.
A lot of challenges early in the season for SMU, but a very unique one here against Navy. You've got to set aside a lot of the normal rules that you play with in any other week and make sure that you're dialed in on your responsibilities against this triple option attack.
Over the years, the Naval Academy has really dominated this series against SMU. In fact, it has been 20 years since SMU has beaten the midshipmen.
12-7 all time, their fourth AAC meeting, and so SMU, in addition to starting 0-3, also trying to get this monkey off their back early on in the season, and both teams could be doing it with two quarterbacks today.
Yeah, there's Will Brown. He's a young man from Rosenberg, Texas, which is just about 25 miles west of Houston. A true freshman. He's going to get his very first start today.
Going to get his very first start today, and he's going to be going up against the consistency and the identity of the Navy program. Ken Niumatalolo, the all-time winningest head coach in Navy football history, and a guy who is as well-respected and just a fixture in college football as any you're going to see.
In his first year on the Hilltop, Sonny Dykes, previously the head coach at Cal and Louisiana Tech. He came in here replacing Chad Morris, who left SMU after 3 seasons to take over at Arkansas. And his ponies will get the ball to begin the game today, and a big decision that Coach Dykes and his staff made. They may play both quarterbacks today, but we're going to get a chance to look at Will Brown early as SMU will get the ball to begin our game today. Kevin Robledo will kick it off at the Naval Academy. C.J. Sanders, James Proche, the deep men for the Mustangs, and it is a short pooch kickoff. And the fair catch was called for, and it'll be a touchback.
SMU number 43 signaled for a fair catch, which was completed by number 21. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the catch, first down.
And so here we go. Will Brown, true freshman, 6'4", 220. He had 2 touchdown passes last week up in Ann Arbor.
Stepped in the second half in the big house against Michigan on the road and didn't flinch, and that was encouraging for this coaching staff as now he's prepared this week for his first start.
A year ago was playing quarterback for the Lamar Consolidated High School Mustangs. Today his first collegiate start for the SMU Mustangs. And a quick throw to get it going for Brown, and that is Braeden West, the running back out of Katy, Texas. And Williams makes the play defensively, Sean Williams.
And you see already something that I think is going to be a fixture to start this game. A young quarterback, get him some easy throws, but also get your best athletes on the perimeter against a Navy defense that's going to give you effort, maybe not match athleticism, though.
Another short pass for Brown, and this time he connects. That is Robertson, the DeSoto, Texas native, brought down again by Sean Williams, the senior safety who missed last week. SMU going fast early, but an encouraging start for Brown.
Use some tempo to take some of the thought process out of it for your young quarterback. A nice screen there.
3 for 3 passing to start the game. This is Proche, who has some speed. And the Mustangs out to midfield on their first possession. Jared Ryan is stopped for the Naval Academy.
Proche coming off a career-high 11 reception game against the Wolverines.
Brown signed with SMU in December, the same couple of weeks that Coach Dykes announced he would be the new head coach here. Enrolled in January, gets his first start today. There's the first run of the game, and Taylor Heflin comes in to make the play defensively along with Williams. You know, Sean Williams, tremendous player for the Naval Academy.
Guy really embodies everything they want. Has been a little dinged up, but was the AAC Defensive Player of the Week versus Memphis, and someone they're going to rely on today against an offense that's got some firepower when everyone's healthy.
Another throw, the first incomplete pass of the day as it short hops Proche over there. Cameron Kinley had the cover. It was the first misfire of the day for Will Brown. We watched a lot of tape of him last week when we had a chance to watch the Michigan game. Really mature for a guy that's a true freshman.
And you're going to see him in situations like that where you get Alon Nash coming off the edge, really working to create throwing angles. He's going to throw the ball from a lot of different planes, a lot of different trajectory to try and get it into the hands of his playmakers.
First third down of the day for SMU. It'll go 5 wide for the first time for Brown on 3rd and 7. Navy rushes 3, drops 8. That's right near the first down marker. Proche again the catch. Heflin brought him down, but it is enough for the first down. And an encouraging start for SMU and quarterback Brown.
And this is exactly what you want to take advantage of. Your athletes in space. That time you get Proche matched up on Heflin, who these Navy linebackers, great in a phone booth, but not exactly going to thrive in that kind of space. Proche gives him that easy nod at the top of the route. That's first down.
On the ground, again on first down.
And Bill, a situation like that with a guy with the athletic gifts of William Brown, you're going to see read option like we have in this offense. But for a team, and Rhett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, said that really wants to start to establish the ground game more with a young quarterback, would love to see him keep one of these option plays early on and soften the backside of that defense up.
Here is a pitch to Braeden West. The cutback and a first down run. Inside the 25-yard line, Jared Ryan makes the play on the senior tailback, Braeden West.
And this is something you don't see much. Under center here, tight end in the backfield, and just getting onto the edge, trying to get more perimeter runs, which is another thing they wanted to focus on going into this week.
West again, inside the 20-yard line. Sean Williams defensively once again for Navy. One thing about SMU, the team is 0-3, but they have played a really difficult schedule over the first month of this season, including last week up at Michigan. Big hole again for Braeden West. And it sets the Ponies up 1st and goal. The safety Haley comes in to make the play defensively.
And you see right here, not a lot of frills, just a simple inside zone play, but because they've been mixing tempo, get big holes.
On 1st and goal, West brings it inside the 5-yard line. Hudson Sullivan, linebacker from Nokesville, Virginia, the tackle for Navy.
And you see this Navy defense just on its heels right now. Everything's been working so far for Sonny Dykes in this offense. A great confidence-boosting first drive for William Brown. See if they can cash in.
Quarterback keeps. Brown thrown down back on the 7-yard line. Williams, Kalen Williams, the play defensively.
And here right there, you saw this in the NFL actually. You see the tight end, Ryan Becker, coming underneath there, what would have been the shovel pass. They're working that QB power read play that's become so popular down by the goal line as these spread offenses, not only on Saturdays, but have worked their way up to Sundays as well.
A 3rd down throw. Can he get out of there? Yes. But Heflin again the play defensively, and the senior Mike linebacker from Georgia, another solid tackle, forcing the field goal.
And that right there is actually going to be a win for this team because he didn't try and force something that wasn't there. He looked out. It was a half-field read for a young quarterback. He's staring down that way, doesn't see anything show right away. So what does he do? Tucks it down, gets a couple extra yards, and makes sure they live to cash in and get points out of this opening drive.
Kevin Robledo's only had one field goal attempt on the year. This will be his second, and the former Florida State Seminole knocks it through. And SMU gets the early lead. A good drive for Will Brown in his first start. Puts SMU in the lead on its home field on this rainy Saturday in Dallas.
Here, I test my limits. Here, I find my purpose.
Here, I attend a top-ranked school and am taught by the best.
Here, I am part of something bigger than myself.
Here, at the United States Naval Academy, we wear the Navy blue and gold.
Backyard camping, this is some good team bonding.
We don't need a football stadium to bond. Where's Lisa?
Definitely not watching football.
Who's watching football?
Hey guys.
Lisa, how are you watching football?
PlayStation View.
I can watch live football on my devices, even my phone, without a PlayStation console.
We should camp more often. Nature is amazing.
When your TV service gets better, camping gets better.
SMU, the early 3-0 lead over Navy on this Saturday. Nice to have you along for the ride today. Big start for Will Brown, the young quarterback making his first collegiate start. Goes 4 for 5. All right, SMU loses its first 3 games. Coach Dykes decides to make a change at his starting quarterback position, going with Brown. What'd you think?
I thought it was the perfect first drive for a young quarterback. You established the run and got it out of his hands early. A heavy dose of Braeden West in the run game, a heavier dose of James Proche in the passing game, and you spread it out and you make the read simple right now. I thought that was about as good as you could have asked for, and then to top it all off, your young quarterback doesn't force anything that's not there when you get down into the red area. You get a field goal out of it and get some momentum going early in this game.
Navy will get the ball for the first time on the kickoff, and they'll get it ahead to the 23-yard line. First time today, they'll have a chance to look at Malcolm Perry, the junior from Clarksville, Tennessee, who a year ago made his first career start against SMU, and it has been, well, history in the making ever since for Navy.
Nothing like your first career start also being an AAC record 282 yards rushing performance, 4 touchdowns in that game, and really asserted himself on this Navy stage in a big way, and his big playability has been there ever since.
Perry's rushed for over 100 yards in each of his 6 career starts. 3 times he's gone over 200 yards. If you haven't watched number 10 in white play this year, he is a big play guy and is an amazing ball handler. First play of the game, the pitch goes to Texas native Trey Walker. Rodney Clemens makes the stop. He's one of 18 Texas natives on this Navy roster. And the slot back Walker is a senior for the Naval Academy.
And Rodney Clemens and Patrick Nelson, their 2 safeties, are going to have their hands full. These triple option teams, you're the last line of defense and end up having a lot of tackles if your team is going to end up coming out on top. Expect big performances there.
From the 31 for Perry. That's C.J. Williams, sophomore, and Davis, the defensive tackle, and Cox make the play defensively for SMU. All year long, you see one team that plays this type of offense. You have to throw almost everything out the window that you've done defensively for one game, don't you?
And, in talking to Kevin Kane, their coordinator, he said, you prepare year-round for this. You don't beat Navy practicing it for 1 week. They started as soon as they got hired, Sonny Dykes and the staff, looking at how are we going to defend the triple option.
Teams had a shootout a year ago. Here's Perry. That's a nice left-handed pitch this time to Walker. And he's got the first down. with the ball in his hands or pitching it with the right or left hand. Perry really has a feel for this, doesn't he?
He really does, and this is what Coach Niumatalolo does so well, is even after all these years, finds a way to add wrinkles to this Navy offense. You reverse that motion, and all of a sudden now you've got C.J. Williams as a lead blocker for an option play on the edge, just getting you one more hat out on the perimeter to spring for a big run.
Here's Nelson Smith, his first carry of the game, and across midfield. Trevor Denbo, the sophomore linebacker. Defensive stop.
And this is something different from Navy you saw right there, almost a full line change for the group up front. We saw almost every lineman on the roster get in against Michigan. Not against Michigan, but in the last couple of weeks, every lineman on the roster get in. They've built extraordinary depth in this group up front, a group that was a semifinalist for the Joe Moore Award last year, the top offensive line in college football.
Harry this time keeps it. He's a elusive runner. That'll be enough for the first down ahead of the SMU 42-yard line. Denbo with his second straight tackle for Malcolm Perry. This is very, very typical, isn't it? Complete control of the offense. In fact, the story early, both QBs seem to be very comfortable and confident out there. And I think they're both happy that the rain has let off. It has been a very, very wet weekend here in this area of Texas, and the forecast was for heavy rain, but thus far it has been dry. Perry hangs on to it this time and gets to the 39-yard line. This is what Perry did a week ago. That was against Lehigh, another typical day at the office.
It really has become what they're accustomed to here. One of just the third player in FBS history with 2 runs of 90-plus yards in a season. That's what you understand, and that's the good and the bad, because sometimes he'll try and make a little bit too much happen, but you're willing to take that risk with a guy that's got the upside that Malcolm Perry has put on tape time and time again.
Perry again, and a solid 185 guy spins around. Now we talk about him being a big play guy, and that's exactly what Perry is. He is a threat to score from anywhere on the field.
Until they get down to the red zone, and that's when we could see some of Zach Abey, who was a record-setting quarterback for them in his own right. But you look at this, 3 career 200-plus yard rushing games. We mentioned the 90-yard touchdowns on his resume. He is an electric athlete, and that's why they took the focus and they said, we want to get the best player on our team with the ball in his hands on every single play.
Third and 5, they give it to the fullback. Look at the surge ahead for Smith. Solid run. This could be 2-down territory here, don't you think, at this point of the field?
There are very few points in the field where it is not 4-down territory for this Navy offense, and that's part of the difficulty as a defense. You're used to get them to 3rd down, make sure that we can get them off the field. There with Navy, you've got to play all 4. And now we see Zach Abey.
He's the designated goal line and short yardage quarterback who was the QB last year. Perry the QB this year. And Abey has moved to receiver except for plays like this. 4th and short. And Abey converts again.
There are no frills when Zach Abey comes into the game. He is there to be the hammer, and he has embraced that role for this team. You see him going right back out to that wide receiver spot. They said for a guy who rushed for over 1,400 yards last year, a record-setting season in his own right, when he got the news, walked into that wide receiver room the next day and became the go-to leader for that position room.
Yeah, he's kind of the poster boy example that captures kind of the identity of unselfishness that you expect from Navy players. First down on the 30. Perry back under center now. Gargiulo with the carry. Head to about the 28-yard line. Anthony's from Freehold, New Jersey, a senior. That was Dotson on the play defensively for SMU.
Anthony Gargiulo, another guy, captain for this team, a guy who found out he wasn't starting, and same thing, didn't hang his head, instead shows up and contributes in every way. That's the hallmark of this Navy team. You're not going to get a lot of guys that are going to sulk, that are going to pout. They're going to get back to whatever they need to do to help this team be successful.
Perry, the late pitch. Nicely done. And another first down as Trey Walker knocked down on the play by Clemens.
They weren't even looking at your shoulder, your knee.
And this defense on the other side, when we look at what Kevin Kane wants to do with this unit, he wants them playing fast, he wants them playing hard and downhill. But when you look, a missed tackle there from Mychal, number 11 at the linebacker spot. You get these guys that play so fast and downhill, but your eye discipline also has to be the most important thing about this week. So it's trying to balance, how do I continue to give this maximal effort that we're being coached with, while also making sure I'm not going to make the big mistake that ends up springing a play in this Navy offense.
They're inside the 20. They're perfect on the year. 14 of 14 in the red zone, and that includes 11 touchdowns. That time, C.J. Williams upended, and our first penalty marker of the day as well.
Holding. Offense, number 87, 10-yard penalty, first down.
A rare Navy penalty. They're annually among the least penalized teams in the country. That's just their 12th penalty of the entire season.
6th in the nation right now as far as penalties per game. How about this? They've only finished below number 2 in fewest penalties per game once since 2008, and it was last year. And Coach Mychal hangs his hat on a lot of things around here, but playing a clean game is probably near the top of that list.
And that holding penalty puts them back on the 28-yard line. It'll be 1st and 20 now for Malcolm Perry in the mids. First pass of the day for Perry. It's a run. There's the elusive Malcolm Perry. Just like he did against Memphis in week 2, he can dart and dash and make people grasp for air. Boy, is he an elusive young man.
You know what's incredible? This actually reminds me of a quote from Rhett Lashley, the SMU offensive coordinator, who said great quarterbacks erase tough situations, and that time, that's exactly what you got from Malcolm Perry. You're behind in the change, which is exactly the opposite place of where Navy wants to be with their style of offense, and he sees a hole and he doesn't think twice about it. He hits it, and quicker than fast, making a couple guys miss along the way.
This is Nelson Smith, shy of the first down, but to the 10-yard line. And a 3rd and short coming up now for the mids.
But again, it's always 4-down territory, especially when you get near the red zone. And that's the problem, is we've seen a little bit of everything from this Navy offense, and it all starts with that fullback. Whether it's Nelson Smith, whether it's Anthony Gargiulo, you always have to have eyes for that guy, because the last place you want to get burned is straight up the middle.
In the final minute now of the first quarter, it has been a long possession. This will be the 14th play of this drive. Perry remains in the game on 3rd and short. The fullback for the first down, and it will be first down and goal to go. Gargiulo plowing his way, and Navy knocking on the door.
And Bill, there's no more demoralizing place for a defense than to get beat right up the middle. Now, Kevin Kane came over from Northern Illinois, a team and a defense that we see live in opposing backfields, and that's a lot of what you see when you put on the tape with SMU. You see the interior linemen, you see Turner Cox, you see Harrison Lovelace and this group trying to get around blocks, trying to arm over, trying to knife inside. If you do that against a Navy team that's going to try and get into your legs, try and crab you out of there, you're going to end up creating seams that ultimately lead to a fullback being able to go right up the middle.
What a quick first quarter that was. Each team has one possession. SMU has the lead. Navy has 1st and goal when we come back.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Backyard camping, this is some good team bonding.
We don't need a football stadium to bond. Where's Lisa?
Definitely not watching football.
She's watching football.
Hey guys.
Lisa, how are you watching football?
PlayStation View.
I can watch live football on my devices, even my phone, without a PlayStation console.
We should camp more often. Nature is amazing.
When your TV service gets better, camping gets better.
Quick first quarter, SMU leads 3-0. Navy, though, has first and goal as we go to quarter number 2. Expect that today, the way these teams play.
Yeah, this has really been an ideal start for both teams. If you're SMU, a great start for William Brown, your young quarterback, a heavy dose of Braeden West and James Proche. And then on the other side, Malcolm Perry making big plays for Navy in an offense that has controlled the clock and now has a chance to cash in the red zone for the 15th time out of 15 trips. They're number 1 in college football in that category.
Zach Abey in the game at quarterback on first and goal. And the Ponies gang up on him. It will be second down and goal. That was the safety Stearns, and Clemens coming in to make the play defensively. Rodney Clemens.
And this is an area where on the field, much more predicated to what SMU wants to do. These guys see any hint of run. If they believe they've diagnosed a play, they are firing right away and trying to get downhill. If you're Navy, do you have a wrinkle off this? Because it's been Zach Abey on these QB lead plays to the right mostly for the entire young season. Do they have something built off it?
Second down and goal. And Abey is stopped again by the SMU defense. And again, Clemens leading the charge on this goal line D for Kevin Kane and his SMU defensive group.
Clemens comes into this game their team leader in tackles, and normally if you're saying our safety's leading the team in tackles, something's probably not going right. But against Navy, that's almost what ends up happening because everyone's got their responsibilities, and if you get to the safety's guy, he's got to make a play.
Third down and goal. Here goes the toss to Trey Walker. And he's stopped short again by Clemens. Fourth down and goal.
There's a wrinkle. You get it out of Abey's hands, a guy who, again, ran this offense about as well as anyone last year. Have a feeling we're going to be calling his own number down here. This is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fourth down and goal for Abey and the Mids. Did he get in? Yes, touchdown, maybe. 7th rushing touchdown of the year for Zach Abey. And the Mids take the lead early in the second quarter. Boy, they had to work to get it in, though, didn't they?
Absolutely. You just see student body right there. It's throw as many bodies as you can over towards that right side. And then Zach Abey, this is the toughness that endeared him to this team. He's a former high school rugby player and wrestler, over 1,400 yards for them last year, and just has that toughness and knack for the goal line.
Bennett Mooring adds the extra point, and Navy takes its first lead of the day. 7-3. Navy has the lead on the road here in Dallas.
What happened? In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power 6 conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power 6 conference? We can. Because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
Backyard camping, this is some good team bonding.
We don't need a football stadium to bond. Where's Lisa?
Definitely not watching football.
She's watching football.
Hey guys.
Lisa, how are you watching football?
PlayStation View.
I can watch live football on my devices, even my phone, without a PlayStation console.
We should camp more often. Nature is amazing.
When your TV service gets better, camping gets better.
Navy with a 7-3 lead over SMU. President George Bush, Dallas resident, in attendance today. And before the game, the president addressed the Navy team.
Any Texans on the team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Quite a few, sir. Quite a few.
Yeah, you'll do well. I want to welcome you to Dallas, and more importantly, thank you for your service to the country. America holds you in high esteem for your willingness to serve a great nation, and so do I. You're fortunate to go to one of the great institutions in our country. I wish you all the best as you during the football season. More importantly, I wish you all the best when you proudly wear the uniform of our nation. God bless you all. Have fun, and nice being with you. Good luck.
President Bush before the game in the Navy locker room. Meanwhile, the Ponies will get the ball, 1st and 10 after a solid kickoff return. One of the great advantages, one of the, I don't know if you would call it a perks, but one of the great things you get if you play at Navy or go to Navy is the opportunity to meet a president like today, or to visit the Arizona Memorial 3 weeks ago. They had the Medal of Honor winners visit a practice this past week.
They do. You get used to these dignitaries being around. It's part of the
Monday Night Football, Steelers Bucks, Monday at 8.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Backyard camping, this is some good team bonding.
We don't need a football stadium to bond. Where's Lisa?
Definitely not watching football.
She's watching football.
Hey guys.
Lisa, how are you watching football?
PlayStation View.
I can watch live football on my devices, even my phone, without a PlayStation console.
We should camp more often. Nature is amazing.
When your TV service gets better, camping gets better.
PlayStation.
Well, remember, you can stream college football all season long on ESPN+. Start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or by visiting ESPNplus.com and start your free trial. Boy, it's been a while since Will Brown and the offense has been on the field.
Yeah, you know, we're right above the SMU sideline, and you look down there during that Navy drive, and I remember this feeling all too well as the Navy offense is out there doing what it does. You're sitting there trying to stay warm, trying to stay mentally activated, but this ends up being like starting your game all over again.
They've been really conservative. They've not put Brown in a situation where he's had to make a lot of really difficult plays early.
No, and that's the idea. Use a lot of motion. You'll see a lot of these fly motions coming across, A, to get the ball to the perimeter, but also to tip the defense's hand. Are you getting man or zone?
Big run. Braeden West. Out of bounds inside the 20. Jared Ryan had the angle on him and forced him out of bounds, but a big gain for the senior West.
Was second on the team in rushing last year and has 2 50-plus yard touchdowns to his name on the season, and going right up the gut for that one and making a great cut, just putting his foot in the ground and finding space.
A fade to the left side of the end zone. Broken up. Nice play defensively in the corner of the end zone. Good job by Kinley.
There's Reggie Robertson trying to make a play, a guy they're really excited about. You talk to Rhett Lashley, and they say he might be the most talented wideout on this roster. They just couldn't quite connect. Got a little spun around.
Quarterback keeps. And that's one thing that Brown brings. You know, Ben Hicks has been so good over the last few years for SMU. He threw for, over 3,500 yards last year, but Brown gives him a little bit more plays like that.
And you see him start to design some of those. Those weren't in the offense. That wasn't what they wanted to do with Ben Hicks, and now trying to incorporate some of those elements in there while also understanding these hits are going to come hard and fast. I mean, you saw Brown getting up after that one. Hudson Sullivan and these Navy linebackers close a lot faster and hit a lot harder than you see on tape.
They send Page in motion. And on third down, run the football. That's Pierce shy of the first down and shy of the 10-yard line. And again, it was Jared Ryan, the corner, that came up to make the play. But it's fourth down, and it looks like Sonny Dykes leaves the offense on the field.
And you've got to try and make big plays against this Navy defense while you've got the chance. Your possessions are limited against this slow burn offense.
4th down. Brown tries to run. Not happening. Taylor Heflin read it well, and Navy holds on downs. Taylor Heflin has been a big star defensively for Navy in this first half. He brings down Will Brown, giving the ball back to Perry and the Mids offense.
Pacific.
I think that I should warn you. There's something about to change. We're standing at the border where history is made. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is crazy. PlayStation.
He's hanging on for dear life and
Kenny Mayne?
Hey, just here to let you know, that's going to be on SportsCenter.
That's gonna be on SportsCenter! Baby!
And that could be
the game. Taylor Heflin, the key tackle on a 4th down stop. He's had a big senior season so far, and the Mids get the ball back. Perry hands it off on 1st down to Gargiulo. Hey, coming up tonight on ABC, we have a top 20 matchup between number 7 Stanford and number 20 Oregon. The game is in Eugene. Cardinal head coach David Shaw says Heisman favorite Bryce Love will be back for tonight's game. A huge Pac-12 North matchup tonight. Tell you what, that game last night at the Coliseum between Wazoo and SC, was that something?
Pac-12 after dark got spicy last night.
It did, early morning. Should have more fireworks tonight in Eugene. Perry pitching it with the left hand. That's Trey Walker in space. And a 1st down run to near the 29-yard line for the Texas native.
Always amazed at the ability of these Navy quarterbacks to hold the ball till the absolute last second. You see he gets a little mixed up coming out there, sees the hit coming, holds, and then finally flips it out to Trey Walker there. So the rest of the defense is sucked in with their eyes on Navy's best playmaker, Mychal Perry.
Perry hands it off this time. That is Malloy. He's another Texas native. And about a 4-yard pickup on 1st down for the junior.
And it's tough in the middle of this defense. You're so used to keying the fullback on those dives. Navy adding a little wrinkle in there, getting their slot backs involved with that same sort of quick hit action on the inside. It really makes you focus on, are my eyes in the right place? Am I following my responsibility against this triple option? Because if you're not, it's an easy 5-yard gain.
They keep it on the ground as usual. This is Nelson Smith, and he's got another 1st down. Demoralizing for the defense when they keep pounding at action like this?
Oh, absolutely. You ask any defender that's ever played, and the last place you want to get gashed is up the middle. And you see it right here. There's nothing tricky about it. You get your guard right up to the 2nd level on these linebackers, and that's the most difficult part is these linebackers are used to screaming downhill, getting clean looks because their D-line are eating. Now we turn loose to the 2nd level, and you have to worry about them going low on you. This SMU defense went against live cutting all week in practice, but it still doesn't prepare you for what the midshipmen put on display.
Barry with the pitch, and that time it's read really well defensively by Cole Stearns, the senior safety. Good open field tackle.
And one of many transfers on this team. That was the one thing Sonny Dykes talked about with us in his meetings, just how many transfers they've got on this roster. The Northern Arizona product laying a big hit out on the perimeter on C.J. Williams.
Navy hasn't been behind the sticks much today. They are now 2nd and 11 for Perry and the Mids.
Remember what happened last time? A penalty got Navy behind the sticks. Malcolm Perry said, "Oh, don't worry, guys. I got you on this one."
He had a 17-yard scamper that set up the touchdown. Navy's going to call a timeout here. It's first of the game. We're nearly midway through the second quarter. Here in Dallas, the Midshipmen with a 7-3 lead over SMU.
I think that I should warn you. There's something about to change. We're standing at the border where history is made. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy. It's gonna be loud. This is crazy.
PlayStation.
He's hanging on for dear life and oh!
Kenny Mayne?
Hey, just here to let you know, that's going to be on Sports Center.
That's gonna be on Sports Center. Mama!
And that could be the game.
Well, Extra Yard for Teachers Week is a week-long celebration of teachers led by the College Football Playoff Foundation through its Extra Yard for Teachers platform. Midshipman Jackson Pittman credits his father and his 9th grade ancient history teacher, Jack, with going the extra yard to develop his son's interest in the subject, and one that Jackson selected at his major at Navy. We asked Jackson to write about his dad, and he said it didn't matter what time of day or whenever any one of his classmates needed to talk or get extra help in class, he could always count on his dad. Visit the College Football Playoff Foundation website at cfp-foundation.org for more of our Extra Yard for Teachers program. Nicely done by Jackson and his father. Who was your favorite teacher growing up?
I had Mrs. Judah, my high school English teacher at Northwest Catholic, who I always said would have made a great offensive line coach. Tremendous attention to detail.
Malcolm Perry's in a little bit of trouble. That might have been their first design pass of the game. Perry is forced out of bounds by the linebacker Richard Moore.
This is exactly what SMU is looking for, because for all of Malcolm Perry's gifts, as a passer, he's still working. That's a work in progress for him. He doesn't want to do this at this point in his game. To be honest, Garret Lewis, the backup, who we may or may not see at some point, actually led the game-winning drive against SMU last year, is probably the most accomplished passer on the roster.
3rd and 15 for Perry in the mids. The ball is loose, and SMU comes away with it. The first turnover of the game as Perry puts it on the ground, and Demerick Gary, the defensive tackle, recovers the game's first fumble.
And a costly mistake from Malcolm Perry. A simple read, this time getting in the gun, which is a wrinkle they used last year. Normally we think of as triple option being under center, but that time mishandling a different sort of mesh in the backfield when you're handling the ball in that pistol shotgun formation as opposed to what they're used to down under center, and a heads-up play by Demerick Gary.
Will Brown making his very first collegiate start at quarterback for SMU, hands it off on first down. And West, who had the big run earlier, is forced out near the 33-yard line by Taylor Heflin.
And so if you're SMU, you missed out on that 4th down attempt in the red zone last time you had the ball. You've seen how few and far between possessions are. There's got to be a big play element in here.
Brown running on 2nd down. And he's ahead to the 32-yard line of Navy. Hayward made the play defensively after Brown absorbed a pretty tough hit.
And it's all been very safe from SMU so far. And they've set up a lot of short area throws, and they've set up a lot of screens. And even here on 3rd down, they're spreading it out. But at some point, there's got to be a shot down the field. There's got to be a way where you try and take advantage of a Navy pass defense that's going to be much further behind you athletically than what SMU's got on their perimeter with all their weapons.
Brown did throw 2 touchdown passes last week at Michigan. This time he connects with Proche, who had 2 of them, and he's got the first down. That's a good throw and catch and a 3rd down conversion for the Dallas native Proche. Again, Heflin made the play defensively.
We saw this on third down earlier in the game when you've got Proche in the slot and you can get him matched up against one of these linebackers or against a guy like Nizer who's not as gifted in coverage as he is as a rusher.
They set up the little screen once again ahead of the 22-yard line. Kinley came up to make the play on Robertson. 3 weeks in a row, SMU has given up a defensive score. In fact, Coach Lashley, the offensive coordinator, says we've got to stop scoring for the other team. They've been much more efficient here today. West, the reception out of the backfield ahead of the 20-yard line.
Right, said it has to be about accountability, right? You can't just preach that if you're not going to show it. And that wasn't a slight against Ben Hicks, but more a responsibility that Sonny Dykes and company believe they have to the rest of this offense to say, we're going to effort to be better in an area that, as he called, has been catastrophic for us in the early going.
A scoop and score and 2 pick sixes against SMU in these first 3 games. They've been in each of these games at halftime and well into the third quarter. But the offensive miscues have really magnified themselves in the second half of SMU's early season. Brown to the air. There's Robertson to the corner. Touchdown.
We sat with offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley yesterday. He said we want to get our ball athletes on the perimeter, get the ball in their hands in space against this Navy defense. And that time you see Cameron Kinley just can't match the foot speed that Reggie Robertson has. All that talent and ability they talked about on display there.
Robledo adds the extra point. And here in the second quarter, the turnover leads to a short field, and SMU takes advantage with a short touchdown drive.
And you saw there for the young quarterback, too, taking advantage of the sideline check with me, makes a big play, and gets to celebrate it on the sideline now, capitalizing on limited possession. That's how you beat Navy.
Kenny Mayne?
Hey, just here to let you know, that's going to be on SportsCenter.
Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is LeBron James.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Kobe Bryant. Julius Erving.
Irvin Magic Johnson.
I didn't choose it. It chose me.
SMU retakes the lead here in the second quarter, 10-7 on the touchdown pass by Will Brown. So far, so good for this young man who's got the rhythm going in his first collegiate start as a true freshman.
They're calling a hell of a game for him right now. Keep everything short, and then when there's a play there to be made, you've got plenty of great skill position players to get the ball to that can make those big plays for you.
C.J. Williams, the fair catch, sending us to your Week 3 NFL Sunday with ESPN, 10 a.m. Eastern. Our Sunday NFL Countdown crew, Rex, Charles, Matt, Randy, Mort, Shefty, and Samantha have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and preview each and every game right up to kickoff. And like everything else, it is live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Sunday NFL Countdown.
See if we can fit a few more people into that picture. It's a crowded classroom.
It is. First down. Navy gets the ball back, trailing for the second time on the day, and that's Nelson Smith, stopped by Elijah McQueen, the safety. There is a flag on the play. Although now they pick it up, no flag. Just an 8-yard pickup on first down. That'll move the Sticks ahead to the 38-yard line.
And you see the finish there by Kendall Wright. This is a Navy offensive line that'll get after you. They are deep at this position. They roll a lot of bodies through so that as the game wears on, we always hear them say about rushers, they get stronger as the game goes on. No, they're better conditioned so the defense wears down. This offensive line is trying to do the same thing, make sure whoever's in there is fresh and ready to roll.
Harry Navy sacked for the first time. Back on the 34-yard line by Moore. Richard Moore, who started at Texas A&M, an athletic linebacker and an important guy for this SMU defense.
And it's difficult for this Navy pass pro to hold up for too long because one thing, Navy offensive linemen are in a stance that's opposite of what most guys are using. Your inside hand is going to be down as opposed to your outside. Your inside foot's going to be back. So if you're trying to set in a defender, you're doing everything in that process backwards from the way a normal offensive lineman would do it, putting you at an automatic disadvantage.
On the pitch, here goes C.J. Williams. Strong run again for the sophomore. Williams is actually the leading receiver for Navy on the year with 6 catches, but that's where he earns his bread and butter there. Clemens made the play defensively for the Ponies.
Yeah, he was a great slot receiver in high school here in Texas. Monster receiving game for them not too long ago, but right now Navy well on pace what they're looking for as we've got an SMU player down on defense.
And that might be Moore. It is Richard Moore who just made the tackle. We'll check on Richard Moore when we come back to Dallas.
If you suffer from muscle cramps,
the college football playoff is coming, and this season, everything matters. Your game face, his khakis, their bling, your black tie, where you sit, where he sits, the height of the grass, the signs you make, or what this lady eats for breakfast. Because the college football playoff is coming, and everything you do matters.
No pressure.
Monday Night Football, Steelers-Bucks, Monday at 8:15 on ESPN.
Tough loss for SMU. Richard Moore, key guy at linebacker, has 2 sacks, 3 tackles already today.
And you see that right ankle just get sort of stuck in the turf right there. Can't see anything too devastating with that. Would be shocked a guy that important to him in a game like this doesn't find a way back onto the field. Go spat that ankle up good on the sideline, I'd imagine.
So late in this first half, Malcolm Perry and the mids have a 3rd down and short from just shy of midfield. And the fullback, Orjulo, moves the sticks right to the 50-yard line. Dotson made the play.
Gargiulo, no stranger to knifing through this defense, had a career-high 145 yards rushing in the game against SMU last year.
It was a game that Navy won, put up a lot of points and a lot of yards, and not a single passing yard in the game in Annapolis.
The brand is strong.
Malcolm Perry from the 50. He's got his man! Zach Abey! Touchdown, Navy! But there's a flag on the play.
Personal foul, shot block, offense, numbers 38 and 20. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
And this is part of the difficulty for Navy in this modern era of college football where they have changed rules year after year. And this is something Navy's dealt with and Coach Niumatalolo's talked about a lot. Dealing with rule changes that affect the way Navy is allowed to play. And so right here you'll see, yep, 38 going low, 20 up high. That's about an easy a call as you can ask for there. And that's the difficulty in this offense where you have the ability to throw on each and every play for these guys. That communication and pass protection, which is something they're not used to.
So it takes a 50-yard touchdown off the board. Perry to throw it again, and this one is incomplete. The intended receiver was Taylor Jackson.
Something we didn't expect to see today. Multiple Navy pass attempts in the sun.
On consecutive plays, no less as well. Well, they've been working really hard in practice with Coach Ivan Jasper, their offensive coordinator, to improve Perry's passing skills and his feel for it and the timing and whatnot. That was a heck of a throw to Abey, but it appeared to be the correct call by this American Athletic Conference crew. Perry ahead to near the 40-yard line as we come down to the final 2 minutes of the first half. McQueen, the safety, the tackle for SMU. And the timeout taken. Well, tonight, are you ready? On ABC, we've got a top 20 matchup between number 7 Stanford and number 20 Oregon in Eugene. Bryce Love back. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, also live on the ESPN app. Hard off to a 3-0 start. Beat UC Davis last week, 30-10. That was without Bryce Love. These teams have combined for 26 Pac-10 and Pac-12 championships over the years.
Both hopefuls, and for Oregon through the early portion of the season, their non-conference schedule hasn't had a lot of tough tests for them, but Justin Herbert looks like, and has already been talked about as, maybe the top quarterback in this draft class coming out. And on the other side, certainly Bryce Love and that Stanford offense going to get a lot of the building, but the number 1 scoring defense in college football right now in Palo Alto. So going to be an interesting matchup there, and as we said before, it could be anything like Washington State and USC. Yes, I'll take 2, please.
That was a tremendous game last night, which SC won late. 3rd and long, Navy keeps it on the ground. SMU does have 2 timeouts remaining, and they'll take one now. 1:54. So Sonny Dykes wants the ball back here in the final 2 minutes of this first half, already leading 10-7. First-year head coach here at SMU. You know, Mike, he was just 13 years old when his dad, who was a high school coach here in Dallas, said, "Sonny, what do you want for your birthday?" And that was during the era of the Pony Express, right? Here with Eric Dickerson and Craig James. And Dykes' answer was, "I just want to go to an SMU game." That's all Sonny Dykes as a 13-year-old wanted. So they went down to, they're from a small West Texas town, but they went to Lubbock. That was in 1982. SMU won the game on a thrilling kickoff return. Who would have known that that 13-year-old would turn out to be the head coach one day at SMU?
A great story coming home for a guy that is all too familiar with the Dallas area now. Very exciting start for this team. Very encouraging start for their young quarterback, William Brown.
Cross it. I was watching ESPN Plus. It's a standalone streaming service. You just watch it in the living room. Yes! ESPN Plus. More sports, $4.99 a month.
ESPN is giving fans with the best excuses for ditching work free tickets to a day game. And there's nobody here with me. I'm alone.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff.
All right, Mike Golick, who's in according to our ESPN playoff predictor?
Yeah, there seems to be a class above the rest right now in college football. Their power on display for so many of these teams, including for the first time in a while, the Alabama Crimson Tide joining the offensive party.
SMU has less than 2 minutes, trying to add to its 3-point lead on its home field, looking for its very first win of the Sonny Dykes era in its conference opener. Brown connects, nicely done, and that'll stop the clock. Proche backpedaled out of bounds to kill the clock at 1:21. Brown does not look like a guy who never played a whole lot before last week at Ann Arbor.
They were really encouraged by his poise, and you're going to see it there now. This is a situation you drill in fall camp all the time. Minute 20 left, 2 timeouts. Let's go down the field.
This time he dumps it to West in space, and Braeden West gets just shy of the 50-yard line. As we approach the 1-minute mark, Hudson Sullivan, the stop for the Mids. Another big hole. Braeden West has been a star on the ground in this first half for SMU. Haley, the safety, made the play.
You found drives like this for young quarterbacks almost settle you down because everything's simplified. You don't have as much time to think and overanalyze.
Brown didn't see anyone open, and that's a heady play by a true freshman, stepping out of bounds, and that stops the clock with 42 seconds left.
And we saw him do that down in the red zone earlier. Just such a great understanding already of keeping a drive alive. Don't make that catastrophic play that we talked about. Has really hamstrung this team through the first 3 games of the season. Changing the play up here at the line.
Brown has completed 7 passes in a row, make it 8, dumping it off to West. He gets out of bounds again. That stops the clock. They're headed near the 27-yard line. Sean Williams makes the play. All right, he's got 8 for his last 8. A lot of them have been the short, safe pass, but that's exactly what you want to do when you got a young freshman quarterback.
Let him direct traffic. When your receiving core and running backs are healthy, this is as talented a group as you'll see almost anywhere, especially in the AAC.
On the ground, Braeden West, the ball is out.
Timeout. SMU.
SMU gets it and calls the timeout. Proche had it. Let's take another look.
And you got to show patience. This is a Navy outfit on the other side that we've seen this year on defense, forcing a ton of turnovers through the early portion of the season. Second nationally in fumbles recovered, 4 interceptions through 3 games. They've been turning the ball over at a great clip this year, and that's something you work on in practice. You get to the pile, and you're aiming for that ball. You're trying to punch it out. If you're the second guy, you're looking to strip, and that's the attention to detail that this Navy program really prides itself on.
All right, so now SMU's out of timeouts. They've got 26 seconds left. What do you do here?
I think you keep doing what you're doing, aiming for the sidelines. You've got time to get a few more plays in, but this could be where a wrinkle. We've seen those little screens on the side. You've got your best receiver in James Proche right there. Maybe set something off one of those screens that gets him loose going up the field.
Brown to throw to the end zone, incomplete. Well, he took a shot for Robertson.
Had a man there, had a chance, just couldn't quite get it. And the protection was good for the most part, as it's been for a lot of today. You see right here the running back making his offensive lineman right as Nick Dennis, the right guard, whiffs on the block there. Cleaning up color long enough. That's just being a ball player at the running back spot there. That's outstanding.
.21 seconds. And no timeouts left for SMU here in this first half. Brown gonna run, and the ball is loose. Navy's got it. And the midshipman will take over. What a collision that was, sending Brown to the ground and the ball in the air.
And if you're Sonny Dykes and if you're Rhett Lashley, this is what you have to do on the sideline now with a young player. You knew this was going to come, that freshman moment where he tries to take these gifts and just do a little bit too much. And you have to turn this into a coachable moment right now. Yes, it could be potentially devastating in this game as you lose out on an opportunity to make use of one of your limited possessions. But you've got to see the big picture here, and you've got a guy you're trying to develop into your full-time starter. You've got to use this as a coachable moment, even while you're upset, even while you're disappointed.
Frustrating moment for Coach Dykes. That was Haley. He came up with the ball. That was Taylor Heflin again that delivered the hit. That ball may have come free very, very late here in this first half. The clock has run out. On a change of possession, they can go back and review this to see if there is time on the clock if SMU came away with it.
And it looks like Sonny Dykes trying to argue just that, coming onto the field and being ushered quickly back off. As he tries to get his team fired up, you just had a major setback for your offense.
Rolling on the field
the red area.
is a fumble recovered by SMU. There are 3 seconds on the game clock. The previous is under further review.
So they'll review it. Adam Savoie is our referee for today's game. And now the replay officials, Roy Reynolds and Wayne Pollard, up here will take a look at this. When did the fumble occur? When did SMU recover it? They're going to give the Ponies 3 seconds after the fumble.
And the longer they sit here, you wonder if they take a look at this one and see where the ball was when it was coming out, and if that knee hit right before. As we see the knees down right there, still looks like the ball is tucked in. You see it pop out. That could be one where if it's called a fumble on the field, there might not be enough to overturn that based on what we're actually able to see with these camera angles.
Nelson Smith is the ball carrier. He's the fullback. When does the ball come free? Clearly the time is not the issue. There was plenty of time left. If SMU recovers and it is ruled a fumble, clearly there was time left for one more play.
So you see
or
the
a long
knee hit
kick.
there. The ball doesn't pop up till right there when you see everyone react. It would appear that knee was down well before the ball came out. But again, it's tough to see in this scrum when it starts to get dislodged, when it comes loose.
The umpire was there and had a very good look at it. And now our replay crew and referee Adam Savoie will fill us in on whose ball is it. This could be a big break for SMU. It may be too far for a field goal, but it would give them one more heat perhaps to the end zone.
Absolutely. Take a shot with James Proche. Get one of your best weapons in space in the middle of the field again, where he's had some success today. Who knew the only thing that could slow down the Navy offense, the replay booth.
Well, it's a big call. Adam Savoie, by the way, the referee, that gentleman in the white hat, we should point out, is a partner at a law firm in Louisiana. He's an undergrad from the University of Texas who went to LSU Law School and is on the NFL's shortlist. We'll be hearing from this official for a while. Not only at this level, but potentially in the NFL as well. Let's hear what Adam has to say.
After review, ruling on the field stands. SMU ball, first down.
SMU's going to try a long field goal here. It's going to be a 46-yarder. Can they steal 3 points for their kicker, Kevin Robledo?
Every possession, every opportunity to get points against this Navy ball control is vital.
Navy's going to call a timeout.
Navy.
Well, coming up at halftime, Chris Carter will look at some of the key games coming up today. Plus an update on the Canes turnover chain. And we'll have the first half stats and all the highlights from here in Dallas in this American opener. Coming up today, there's some exciting games later on this afternoon. In the ACC, Clemson, which fell to number 3, by the way, takes on a Georgia Tech team that's lost 2 in a row. That's a pretty pivotal Big 12 game coming up at Morgantown. What are you looking forward to?
Get a look at Will Greer, that West Virginia offense against Kansas State. I got to call that game last year when Will Greer got a little nicked up, but one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Navy's going to use another timeout here before the field goal attempt for Robledo. Let's go back at our menu for this afternoon.
You talk about quarterbacks, too. Nick Fitzgerald and that Mississippi State offense there, one of the best rushing quarterbacks. As we look at a young quarterback here who's got some rush element to him, one of the most accomplished in the country in that game against a Kentucky team that's still riding that high of finally ending that drought against their arch rival in Florida.
We've been talking an awful lot about the Stanford-Oregon game in primetime. The late game could be terrific as well. All right, Navy's out of timeout, so now let's see if Robledo can connect from 47 yards out. Final play of the first half, and he hits the right upright. Boy, he had the distance, but he pinged it off the upright.
Had plenty of time to think about it thanks to those Navy timeouts, too.
Well, the timeouts that Navy took, maybe it did make a difference, right?
Snap looks good, hold looks fine, just drifts a little bit right. That daunting clang off the upright And just a chance going into the half to steal some momentum going into a second half now. You did so many things well. Finally, a little sloppy at the end of the half. Your young quarterback's youth actually showing up on the field for you in a way that had some negative effects.
You're saying, you know what, we've been in this situation before. We've had 3 games that have been pretty tight at the break.
Absolutely, and games where possessions are limited. Only 10 offensive possessions against Michigan last week. Something like 24 plays in the first half of that game. So this is something that they're used to, but Navy, as we know, is a unique animal all its own.
Ball over the head of C.J. Williams for a touchback, and Navy will get the ball to begin the third quarter. Following the touchback, again, Navy had a big second week win against Memphis that puts them on top of the American West standings coming into this game today. A win today would be huge for Mychal Cooper and his team. Stay atop the league and have a road win plus a tiebreaker over Memphis.
Absolutely, and big game against SMU last year. They're no stranger to this. Had to get a win over SMU to be bowl eligible last season and managed to do that behind a stellar effort from Malcolm Perry, who got his first start in that game.
He's rushed for just 23 today, and the first play of the third quarter is the pitch to Trey Walker. The Texarkana native, brought down by Noah Westerfield.
And you saw Trey Walker there make one miss, and we always say to the running back, that last guy in the back end of the defense belongs to you. We can't block all of them. Well, that's exactly what Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator for SMU, wanted to eliminate. Missed tackles, said we have to keep that under 10 a game, because if we creep up over that number, that means big plays are bound to happen. Got a little tackle overlook from Navy right here, mixing it up front.
On 2nd down and 6, there goes the fullback, Nelson Smith, near the first down. We should point out, we did not expect to see sunny skies here today in this part of Texas. The forecast was for torrential rain and flooding, but it's been really pretty here this afternoon. This is unexpected and welcome.
Some genius in this booth decided to go for a jog around campus yesterday, right into the teeth of the storm. I wonder who would do that,
How
Bill.
was that, Mike?
Not
like make sure that phone made it, right?
How am I going to be able to Venmo my friends?
Here's Perry, thrown down again behind the line. The SMU defense gets back there in a hurry. That was Williams again, scooting through to make the play.
And I think these linebackers for SMU, when you look at Williams, Moore, Mychal, they really exemplify what they're trying to build on that side of the ball. A toughness for the entire team, but on defense, that aggression. And you see it right there. You understand your responsibility, you diagnose, and then you fire the gun right there, going right downhill to make a big play.
Yeah, Williams is playing some after Moore had that ankle injury. He's done well. Here goes Perry to the 40.
Great job on the pull there by right guard Chris Gassell. You saw coming around there. His father served on Navy submarines, was a pilot for 28 years. Going to work on the interior as part of that platoon Navy offensive line that they keep rolling through.
Third down for Perry and the mids. Nothing doing again. This is by far the best that SMU has played all year. Mike, remember, they're allowing over 44 points a game. Here we are in the third quarter, and they are doing a really solid job here defensively on the leading quarterback.
And there's a miscommunication there in the backfield. That time you see Malcolm Perry open up to the right, expecting a fullback dive. Fullback's going dead behind him in the opposite direction, tries to make something out of nothing.
Here's Owen White to punt. Second time today. It's only the 5th time Navy has punted against SMU in the last 4 meetings. Nearly blocked. White gets it away. Here's Proche. Flags all over the field, and Proche is down inside the 15. Well, Owen White doesn't get a lot of action as the Navy punter, but he does flip the field here, and the penalty
During the
apparently
return,
will help.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 21. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
First
Timeout on
SMU
the field.
penalty, but it comes at a tough time. SMU with the lead and gets the ball when we come back to Dallas on this Saturday afternoon in the American Conference.
Pacifica Hybrid
MLS. Our soccer is everywhere, so the world knows how we do our soccer. Tomorrow on ESPN and FS1.
Under these lights, everything is electric. The look, the noise, I'm gonna make it! The offense. Anything can happen on Saturday night.
The ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and download now.
Now, one thing you may or may not find on the ESPN app, great moments in team entrance history.
Pony up Dallas indeed right there.
Ouch.
Tired of being dragged around the field all day, he said, "Nay, good sir, nay."
Ponies get the ball back, leading by 3. Third.
I think I might have to find myself for that horse punt.
Yeah,
unacceptable.
Not good. That was that's the chop block of the day.
Yeah, throw the flag on that one. Big situation here for William Brown. We saw the catastrophic mistake come in a 2-minute drill. Backed up by your own end zone is another really important situation for this game.
We'll keep it on the ground again, and there goes West. He's had a couple of big ones. Sean Williams made the play defensively for Navy. Every time West has had a seam today, he's been one step away from taking it.
And this is an offensive line after my own heart here. When we talked to Rhett Lashley, Sonny Dykes really said Lashley, the thing he liked about him was his approach to the run game is the same as Sonny Dykes and the air raid offense is to the pass game. Keep it simple, a pared down playbook, but coach the details and the finer points with a lot of emphasis.
On third down, Navy comes up with a big stop. That was Taylor Heflin again. He has been Mr. Tackle, second on the team coming in. Both Taylor and Hudson Sullivan, who lines up next to him, are tops on this Navy team defensively. They've both been really strong today, and that's exactly what Navy needed there, a 3 and out.
Hudson Sullivan missed spring ball after a foot surgery that cut his 2017 season short. But right there, those linebackers, when they're firing downhill in a phone booth, they're as good as any you're going to find.
Jacob Springer to return the punt off the left foot of Jamie Sackville. And he takes the fair catch near the 37-yard line. Well, coming up tonight on ABC, we have a top 20 matchup between number 7 Stanford and number 20 Oregon in Eugene. Bryce Love should be back on the field in this huge Pac-12 North matchup. Saturday Night Football is presented by Wells Fargo, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Catch it on the ESPN app as well, so you can watch it anywhere. Here's a stat for you, Mike. 12 different Ducks have scored an offensive touchdown this year already for Oregon.
The Conference of Champions, Bill.
Everybody Duck.
Oh,
that was a great Heisman campaign that they launched in Eugene a few years ago. But no, I'm looking forward to watching Oregon play tonight.
You get a look at one of the best quarterbacks in the country. A lot of people are starting to hear the name Justin Herbert, and we love Pac-12 After Dark, but for so many people, it means they're not quite seeing what these Pac-12 teams have to offer. You get a chance to see two of the best in prime time tonight. Take advantage.
Second down, here's Perry. He took a spin, and then he took a shot on the 42-yard line. Hello, Rodney Clemens. And as tough as Perry is, that had to hurt, because when you spin and then get smoked like that, it could take a while to regain your senses.
And you can hear the hit there. Nelson coming downhill. Your team leader in tackles for loss and sacks. The grad transfer from Illinois making his presence felt. And he's a guy who's been a presence in this building.
Perry took a shot and will be seen to by the Navy medical staff now. The fortunate thing that Navy does have is a guy like Zach Abey, who played quarterback last year, plus Garret Lewis. They've had 3 different guys play quarterback, and they're apparently going to get Lewis ready to come in here.
Lewis was the hero in this game last year. Came in, was a big part of why they won when Malcolm Perry got nicked up in that game. We'll see the extent of it for Perry, who is walking off the field under his own power, but definitely feeling that shot from Nelson. And you see, this is what they did with Perry last year in this game. Get him in the shotgun and let him operate from there, especially on 3rd down, for a guy that's the best passer on your roster.
Lewis, 10 of 16 passing. That leads Navy in attempts and yards. They run the ball on the pitch. There goes Trey Walker. And a first down for Navy. Inside the 45-yard line, Jordan Williams came up to bring down Walker.
And look at the big man out in space. Jake Hawk, who was recovering from an ankle injury last week, here at left tackle, getting out on the perimeter, setting it up, and getting just enough of the defensive back there to give his running back a crease. Beautifully done, big fella.
You love it when the offensive linemen get downfield like that, and you always notice.
The best athletes on the field, they rarely get a chance to shine in open space like that. I would be a poor member of the O-line fraternity if I did not point it out.
The best athletes on the field, and you say that objectively, of course.
Absolutely. Zero bias built into that at all.
There's Jake. He's a 6'6" senior. Well, we had motion up front, and then the left guard took a step.
Laurent Njiki, the cyber operations major, the wherewithal to see the movement on the D-line.
Offside. Defense, number 91, came into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction by the offensive lineman. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's been a pretty clean game, just 4 penalties, and let's watch what happened here.
And it's important to note, when you've got a D lineman that jumps into the neutral zone like that, it's only the lineman right adjacent to him, the center and the guard in that case for a defensive tackle, that can move and trigger that penalty. In addition to the best athletes, also the smartest.
There goes the fullback again, and Gargiulo inside the 30, and there was Elijah McQueen to make the play.
And if you're SMU, you've got to try and capitalize. There's a change at quarterback right now. You're dealing with a guy you don't have as much film on, who doesn't have the reputation of Malcolm Perry, but who has the trust of this Navy coaching staff and team to handle this offense, and so far has demonstrated that. Getting them out of a jam, a 3rd down situation, and now getting down, creeping closer to the red zone, where we know they have been money this season.
Lewis keeps this time to near the 22-yard line. It doesn't appear to matter who the Navy quarterback is year after year, or even decade after decade. Navy does, well, what Navy does, right?
I'll be interested to see how quickly they get Zach Abey, and he's a guy that we see down near the goal line to begin with, has that knack for the end zone. He is their one-man goal line package. But when you've got a backup in there now, and a guy who's played as much football at Zach Abey as your disposal, you wonder how quickly inside the red zone, where handling the ball in this offense becomes paramount, you see him.
On 2nd down, Lewis the throw, has a man wide open, touchdown Navy!
Touchdown Navy. Garret Lewis completes the pass for Mychal Cooper.
The freshman Mychal Cooper with his first career touchdown. It puts Navy in the lead.
And you see it up top, eyes in the backfield there from Eric Sutton. Creeping in, watching the backfield in this option offense is poison for a defense, and it allows Mychal Cooper to go scot-free into the end zone.
Mychal Cooper's first career touchdown and just the 2nd receiving touchdown of the year for the Navy has the Mids in the lead here in Dallas.
Can you feel it? Mookie, JD, Frankie, and J-Ram. These guys have set the world on fire.
Yeah, I'm coming in.
the race for MVP is officially lit. Can you feel it? Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox Indians, tomorrow at 7 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell.
We really like having Aaron around, but we're concerned he takes his name a bit too literally.
Okay. He has to do golf again.
All rise.
Garret Lewis in relief of Perry comes off the bench, throws the go-ahead touchdown. Navy leads 14-10, and this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Bill Roth, Mike Golick with you Saturday afternoon in Dallas. It has been a back-and-forth game. Navy retakes the lead now, 14-10, thanks to the relief heroics of Garret Lewis. It's SMU turn with the football. On the return, Trey Walker. Look out! Walker! He's gone!
Well, that's one way to get back into the game, a special teams play. Again, when you've got such an athletic advantage, we've seen a lot of people taking advantage of that fair catch rule. This time, fielding it down near the goal line. Reggie Robertson just needs a small hole to put on the Jets, and then no one's going to catch that guy. Over and over again, what do we hear in these meetings? Maybe the most talented pound-for-pound wide receiver we have in the building. For an outfit that lost a lot of production from the likes of Cortland Sutton last year and was looking for a way to replace that, I think you may have found your guy.
Robertson takes it 98 yards, and SMU retakes the lead. Once he got by the kicker, no one was going to stop. Robertson from DeSoto, Texas, has SMU back in the lead.
Monday.
He's hanging on for dear life, and oh, no!
What have I done? I let my team down, my fans, the kids. I even let Kenny Mayne down too?
Oh, I'm fine, but that's going to be on SportsCenter.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Tonight.
That's going to be on SportsCenter.
And that could be the game.
He going to be okay? Displaced ego. It's going to be a tough climb back.
In unfamiliar waters, hundreds of miles from base, all that training and discipline pay off, and you find out what your team is really made of.
The whole island!
And these exotic waters, all thanks to rewards from my Navy Federal flagship credit card. Looks like we're all winning this weekend.
You're going down, Dad!
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Well, it's been 3 years since SMU had a kickoff return for a touchdown. That was Braeden West against Temple in 2015. Reggie Robertson brings this one back 98 yards to put SMU back on top. C.J. Williams on the kick return gets knocked down on the 15-yard line. Here's another special teams tackle for the Ponies. Well, all season long, SMU has been on the receiving end of that. They seem to be playing well, and then they get a punt return against them or a big play against them to take away the lead. This time they turn the tables.
Yeah, it's been much more about the big mistake than the big play for them, and to get it out of special teams and to get it as your skill position players start to get healthy. That's the other thing. This group has been deprived of receivers in recent weeks as they've tried to face against one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country through the early portion of the year. Only team to face two then top 20 opponents in the first 3 weeks.
TCU and Michigan. Perry is back in the game at quarterback.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, timeout. Navy, they're first. 30 seconds.
That's interesting. Navy ball when we come back.
This is a place where we've got all kinds of recently released movies and the occasional customer that misses out on them.
Introducing the entirely redesigned 2019 Acura RDX. It's everything we ever imagined, and then some.
Well, Navy had to burn a timeout early. Is back in the game, and the junior from Clarksville, Tennessee runs ahead before Mychal brings him down. It's a 5-yard pickup.
And interesting formationally for Navy, we saw this in the last series when you had Garret Lewis under center, a guy that you certainly wanted to use more of his passing ability and set that up, but now Malcolm Perry back in the gun as well.
SMU has done a really good job keeping him in check so far today. Only one more yard on that play, and it'll bring up another third down. Malcolm Perry has rushed for over 100 yards in every game he has started at Navy. And this is his 7th start. 3 of those first 6, Mike, he ran for over 200. Today, SMU's done a good job, but there's a lot of football left.
Absolutely, and you beat him up some along the way today, which is a guy who's not the biggest quarterback on Navy's roster. You get those hits, and that war of attrition starts to work in your favor.
They've held him to 34 yards rushing. He got one there, so maybe 35. That was Scott, Delonte Scott, the defensive end from Irving, Texas.
This is a D-line group that's been doing it by committee, but we talked to D coordinator Kevin Kane, and he really thinks Delonte Scott has a chance to be something special, and you see why there, the ability to close down the line and to make a play that halts that Navy drive early. You get Navy to go 3 and out, you're doing some things, capitalizing on that big special teams play. It's complimentary football.
Kevin Kane has done a nice job defensively. Here's the punt now for Owen White. It is his 3rd of the game. That's a line drive and a returnable punt for sure. And SMU's going to start in good field position inside the 40. We'll be back in 30 seconds in Dallas.
Hello, Liz. That's my style.
Introducing the entirely redesigned 2019 Acura RDX.
That's my style.
It's everything we ever imagined, and then some.
Yeah, that's my.
Hey, aren't you Kirk Herbstreit? Oh, I get that all the time, but I do love game day.
Oh, love game day. You're Desmond Howard. I wish.
So, you doing any tailgating this weekend? Yeah. And we got everything you might need. Charcoal, grills, even generators. We'll get you ready for game day.
Okay, you're the Corso.
Know your game day stuff with Kingsford Charcoal. 2 bags, just $19.87. ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot.
Well, the slogan this year in Dallas is "It's always sunny on the hilltop." That's the slogan for Sonny, who's in his first year, Sonny Dykes. And it has been a sunny afternoon when we expected rain for an 0-3 SMU team. There's Robertson, who had the kickoff return. He's had a good day. Here's the touchdown first.
And a great job here. This was the game plan. Get the ball on the edge and let your guys go to work. And Robertson did just that. This guy is electric with the ball in his hands. And you see the talent here. And I think all of these SMU skill players have a really good sense of space when they get into the open field. They can see these lanes. We've seen Braeden West in the run game get through the line of scrimmage and then sort of read the defensive backfield, put the foot in the ground, and find open space. There have been big chunk gains to be had for this offense on the ground. Let's see if they can get an aerial attack to match that.
This will be the 3rd drive start in Navy territory today for William Brown and SMU. Braeden West spins to the 32-yard line where Sean Williams submarines him there. It's a strong first down run for the senior West.
Braeden West, 112 all-purpose yards against North Texas. They've got guys that do it in every phase.
This will be enough for the first down again for West, who had a 71-yard touchdown in the season opener. He's from Katy, Texas. Most of the SMU kids are from here. One thing that Coach Dykes talked about, he said, there are 100 high school prospects within 30 minutes of this campus. And if anyone knows Dallas and this part of Texas high school football, it's Sonny Dykes.
And it's really only getting more, right? He said you look in Frisco, and there was one high school there years ago. There's 12 popping up. You're getting even more options in a place where you get good, quality, well-coached football and well-coached kids coming out of those programs.
That was Cameron Kinley that made the play there defensively on Proche. Well, Sonny's a Texas guy. I mean, he grew up in Texas. His family's from down here. His father was such a successful coach at Texas Tech, where he went to school. He was an offensive assistant last year over in Fort Worth at TCU, but now running this SMU program and looking for his first win as the head coach in their conference opener today. West stays on his feet, and he gets inside the 20-yard line. SMU back in the red zone. Villalobos making the play defensively. Speaking of Fort Worth, the senior defensive end for Navy.
And we heard they wanted to work more counter and power runs into this offense. That was a great job by Braeden West of having patience. We hear that associated with Le'Veon Bell when he's on the field for the Steelers, a guy who gives time for his blocks to set up. That time you saw some of that from West.
You're talking about Bell in the past tense now, evidently, right, with the Steelers?
Ball start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yes, the artist formerly known as Le'Veon Bell when he was on the field in black and yellow for the Steelers, which already seems like an eternity ago.
No, not even on the active roster. They're coming up on Monday night. We'll talk more about that as our afternoon goes on. The Steelers and the Bucks in Tampa. 3rd down here for Will Brown, the true freshman from Rosenberg, Texas, just outside, about 25 miles west of Houston. He delivers that one, but it's going to be shy of the 1st down to Proche.
And I love the strategy here for William Brown when you get into these obvious passing situations to spread it out and make the looks easy for him. Proche's got to get to the sticks on that route there. You run it a yard short in a situation where you need that 1st down, and now they leave the offense on the field, going to try and continue to capitalize. They've been moving the ball all day on the ground. I'd hand it off and let your offensive line continue to displace this Navy defense.
4th down and 1. That's West.
You got it.
And 1st down for SMU.
And Bill, in a day where you had all these big chunk plays in the run game, I promise you when you get into the meeting room for that offensive line unit, for that offense on Monday, and you're watching this tape, that's going to be a run you're more proud of than anything, because that's run efficiency in a situation where you had to have it.
West out of the backfield. And Navy gangs up on him near the 11-yard line. Credit Josh Webb from Plano, Texas. One of 18 Texas natives on the midshipman roster make that play.
And now we just mentioned him being short of the sticks, but I'd keep an eye on James Proche down here in the red zone area, lined up in there. If you've got him matched up with one of these Navy defenders in the middle of the field, that's where he can really make guys miss and be a problem.
Brown going to keep it. They force him back. You'll recall Brown has 1 turnover today running the football. A play similar to that.
I'd have to imagine there was an emphasis. Now, you're in a red zone trip, albeit not in a 2-minute drill. But still, ball security is job security down in this area, and you want to establish that early on.
3rd down for William Brown. He threw 2 touchdown passes last week in his first extended action. That was at Michigan. Making his first collegiate start here today. Brown to the air. Has his man. It'll be 1st down and goal. Proche crossing over the middle. Very near the 1st down, but just short of the sticks again for Proche.
You saw Josh Webb come screaming off the edge that time, the DN from Plano, Texas for Navy. Had a sack against SMU last year. And 4th and 1 again. The play clock winding down and the quarter.
And so SMU and the midshipmen will flip ends of the field. It'll be a big 4th down to begin quarter number 4. Back and forth we go. SMU and its conference opener with the lead on Navy.
There are roadside attractions, and then there's our world-famous on-road attraction, the 2019 GLC, Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Good ball game, tight, 17-14 going to the fourth, and a big 4th and 1 play to begin the fourth quarter.
Already got a 4th down conversion on this drive. You've established and set a tone that they were looking to on this offense. Fire up that ground game. There are no frills to this. They're going to line up and try and run inside zone and move you off the ball, and it looks like they're going to give Braeden West a chance to do it.
There goes West. Unless he gets a good spot late. Hudson Sullivan was the one that came in to make the play. And the Navy defense has held.
And you see again, it's been this Navy linebacking core. Firing downhill, sees a gap right there. It looks like Hudson Sullivan again, who's just been a ball player for them all day today.
Well, Mike and I were talking about our Monday Night Football Week 2 matchup. Big Ben and the Steelers in Tampa Bay to take on Mike Evans and the 2-0 Buccaneers. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Benedict's kickoff at 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. The Steelers and the Bucs.
Mike Evans, who wrote that promo? It's 24 karat Fitzmagic, baby. Let's go.
Started, and everyone was expecting Jameis to be the guy.
Everyone expecting Jameis to be the guy. We're expecting Malcolm Perry to be the guy right now. Instead, Garret Lewis back out on the field for the midshipmen.
If I had have told you that the Tampa Bay had the top offense in the NFL, 482 yards a game and 38 points, you'd go, what are you talking about?
If I'd have told you Ryan Fitzpatrick showed up to a press conference wearing Deshaun Jackson's clothes and leaking chest hair all across this great nation, you might have believed that one quicker than you'd have believed the other stuff. That actually seems pretty on brand for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, you mentioned Lewis stays in the game. He came in through the touchdown pass that at the time put Navy in the lead. Perry QB'd them on their last possession, but now it is the senior from Alabama back under center on 3rd down. And he's thrown down to the 10. The ball is free. SMU has it, 1st and goal. Kyron Mitchell forces the fumble from Garret Lewis. McQueen falls on it. And SMU is in business. 1st down and goal.
And just caught between worlds on this pitch right here. Thinks about it again. These Navy quarterbacks are so adept at taking it up till the very last moment. And that time you see Lewis right here looking like he's trying to get the ball out to that hand to pitch to the outside, but doing that at the expense of ball security when you're getting ready to take a hit for a guy that's not used to doing that as much in this offense. You wonder what Malcolm Perry's status is injury-wise on the sideline, because putting a guy like Garret Lewis backed up on their own end in that situation is a tough call for a guy that's not played a ton of football for you.
3rd lost fumble of the day for Navy. And SMU will start on the 2. Braeden West gets popped on 1st down. Again, it was Sean Williams. Everybody knows this young man from Memphis is a physical safety.
Coming downhill there again, been nicked up in the last couple of games, but healthy now and trying to help this defense bow up in a big situation. You want to talk about sudden change. You just got off the field. You made a great 4th down stop. This is your reward.
2nd and goal from the 3. And West gets about a yard down to the 2. It will be 3rd down and goal. Hudson Sullivan, the senior Nokesville, Virginia native, made that play.
Now you got 3rd and goal here again, and we've seen it be 4-down territory for SMU that's got to smell blood right now. You see this situation, you get a big turnover from your defense and a chance to get up on this Navy team, and that's the thing. You've got to try and bury Navy when you have the chance. Get them out of their offense, get them to passing the ball more.
Will Brown rolls out, flips over the head of Proche. Oh, he had him.
Pass intended for Proche. Incomplete.
Bill, we were together the other night watching film from the Michigan game, and we saw this rollout play down by the goal line, and this is exactly what you want to do for a young quarterback. Roll him out, he's mobile, it can be a run and pass option there if he doesn't see his throw open right away, but gets it to a half-field read, and he's got his best wide receiver open in the end zone there and just sails it, as they're going to get ready to go for it again on 4th down.
Maybe just had a 4th down stop inside the red zone. They'll try to do it again from the 3. Ball in the air. Touchdown. Galliard with the reception.
And if at first you don't succeed, run a slightly different version of the same play. This time you see Galliard come in motion, flex back out to the side, and there's just no way for Jared Ryan to stay with him coming off that motion in a play where you've always got the advantage as the offensive player.
The extra point is blocked. Navy's got it. This can be returned. This is Ryan. Jared Ryan on the blocked extra point. Two points, Navy. Seen a little bit of everything today, haven't we? Jared Ryan takes it out of the end zone.
And keeps it a one-score game. That is an unbelievable effort from a guy that just got beat on the touchdown. That play before, Jared Ryan here, just behind on the touchdown. And how does he follow that up? By sulking? No. He gets in. Big man gets his hand on the ball, and then Jared Ryan does the rest the other way for 2 points to keep Navy in this ball game.
We had different insurance prior to marriage.
Other insurance companies give you the runaround. They don't care.
I've never had the service you've had with USAA.
Having insurance is something everyone needs, but having USAA, that's a privilege.
Welcome to Pilot. Oh.
Hi, it's pretty bad.
We've got clean restrooms right over there. And showers, too. That's totally just an FYI.
(23-16), a one-score game early in quarter number 4. The blocked extra point by Polu. Return for 2 points. Has made it a 23-16 game, and now the Mids will get the ball back. What do you think about Garret Lewis's first 2 drives off the bench in place of Mychal Cooper?
Well, we saw the skill set he brings to the table. The best passer on this Navy roster throws a wide open score to help get the Mids in this game. But then you saw an area backed up in their own end zone where he's not as familiar operating this offense under center with regularity in pressure situations. And now he's going to get another chance to right the ship here as he's back under center for them. And you have to wonder, Malcolm Perry, those hits we saw in the first half, just too much for him to overcome.
It's a reverse. Aby looking to throw it. Aby stays on his feet ahead to the 28-yard line. It's a long way to run for 3 yards. Turner Cox tracked him down.
Yeah, you saw them trying to set up the throwback to Garret Lewis there on the other side, but too much pressure in Aby's face, and wisely makes the decision to tuck it and run it. You've been waiting and wondering when they were going to take advantage of having another quarterback out there on the field and throw in a trick play or two.
Instead, it's just a gain of 3. Lewis, the option pitch. And Walker brought down by Clemens. That's the first time, by the way, a Navy player has returned a blocked extra point for 2 points since 1997. A gentleman by the name of Charles Fisher did it against SMU. So it's been a long time since that's happened for the Naval Academy.
Those are the little plays that a lot of people don't think about too over the course of a game. You see a block like that in a PAT that we almost treat as a throwaway play anyway, so much so that the NFL changed that rule not too long ago to move it back, and instead Navy recognizes, wait a minute, when you've got a blocked PAT in the end zone and a chance to return it, as we look and see Zach Abey down on the sideline getting stretched out right now. But as you see that, you recognize that opportunity in the end zone to say, wait a minute, they've got a lot of big bodies on the other side of that field out there in that extra point block, in that extra point protection unit. And so you take advantage of that, and you've got a return opportunity against a bunch of guys like former me who want no part of trying to tackle you in space.
It's the 7th time this year that SMU has given up non-offensive points.
And if you're looking, it's a great story for the early portion of the season for them.
Great stories tonight on SportsCenter, too, with Stan and Neil coming up after Arizona State and UW on ESPN. Herbie and Chris will break down the Stanford-Oregon game, plus reaction from Urban Meyer's return to the Buckeyes bench. We'll have all the top plays in a moment from college football. We've seen a couple of them here today in Dallas. It's SportsCenter right after the game on ESPN and ESPN app. Coming up tonight from Los Angeles.
So you saw Zach Abey limping off the field there as well. You've now down 2 of your most tenured quarterbacks, or guys that can play quarterback for you, and Garret Lewis, who's fresh off a big fumble earlier.
Lewis on 3rd and 1 tries to stretch across the 35-yard line. Jordan Williams did the bear hug there, trying to bring him down, but Lewis, driving the legs, was able to get it.
And they're moving the chains right now. Not going to take too long to look at that at all. As Lewis now gets some breathing room, and for a quarterback who I don't think came into this game expecting to play as much, getting a first down like that in that situation lets you just take a deep breath.
That'll be a 4-yard loss. Unblocked, Turner Cox comes in and makes the play on Garret Lewis.
If you look at Turner Cox, too, he's a guy that, again, as we talk about a D-line by committee, has his eyes on the quarterback there, understands who's playing the dive, sees his player, and then makes a play. When you turn on the tape, you see him jump out as a guy who can get around on some of those edges, who shows up in the backfield from a time or two again, and as they're looking for guys to make a presence felt as the year goes on, he could be one to keep an eye on.
Lewis on 2nd and 13. The protection breaks down, and he's sacked on the 31 by Mychal, the SMU linebacker from Houston. It's the 3rd sack of the day by the Ponies defense.
And this is never the consistent position Navy wants to be in for their offensive line. Again, when you're in that opposite hand stance, all of your pass protection mechanics become that much more awkward, that much more cumbersome. I remember running them on scout team when we're trying to help our defense prepare for Navy, and you feel so backwards, so alienated from what you're used to doing.
3rd and 14 for Garret Lewis in the mids. And that's incomplete. Taj Malloy was the intended receiver, and Navy will be forced to punt it away once more.
You see it showing up over and over again when Navy winds up in positions and situations they're not used to, being forced to pass the ball this much in what looked like a normal spread offense on that last play, not used to throwing and catching. The punts, as many as we've seen today, a lot of low knuckleballs that give you a great chance at a return if you're SMU.
Owen White punting it to Proche. That's his best punt of the day. Proche back to near the 17. Very dangerous return man for SMU. And Proche out of bounds near the 40. We will step aside. 9:25 to go in the 4th. SMU has the lead and now the ball.
In unfamiliar waters, hundreds of miles from base, all that training and discipline pay off. You find out what your team is really made of.
The whole island!
And these exotic waters, all thanks to rewards from my Navy Federal flagship credit card.
Hey, Mom, what's this?
Looks like we're all winning this weekend.
You're going down, Dad!
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
On a steamy Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Hot day, right? Mm-hmm. That's what a real fan looks like.
We're bad fans.
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
9:25 to go in the fourth quarter. SMU looking for its first win in the Sonny Dykes era here on the Hilltop in its conference opener. A 7-point lead over visiting Navy. It's been an exciting back-and-forth ball game and some big plays on both sides, starting with Roberson's 98-yard kickoff return. That ignited this crowd in Dallas.
All the ability in the world, and with an offense being run by a freshman quarterback, you got to try and find other ways to manufacture plays. And when you've got special teams as an avenue to get the ball in your best player's hands, it works. Then, of course, it gets turned on its head. We've seen SMU give up non-offensive touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. This time, special teams points.
Yeah, that went for 2 points on the block PAT, and that's why we have a 7-point game.
Brown's been pretty consistent for most of the day. They've been short, easy pass attempts.
And for Navy, that is Jacob Springer, the safety from Kansas City, slow in getting up.
Springer, a guy they said has really benefited from the presence of Sean Williams, the senior in that locker room, a guy who he basically follows around and has managed to pick up a lot, not only about life as a football player, but about life as a member of the Naval Academy and the right way to do things. Sean Williams, the poster child for all things Navy football.
What do you suspect SMU will do now? Has the lead, under 9 minutes to go, on its home field. What do you think we'll see offensively out of Coach Dykes' team here?
I think a lot of what you saw on that play before. Perimeter runs would be where I'm going. You've had this Navy defense on the field a lot more than they're used to. That ball control offense works both ways. Navy's defense is used to having plenty of time to rest, and that they've been faced with sudden change time and time again. Instead, now you put your freshman quarterback in a position where they're going to spread it out again, try and make this look easy for him on a third and obvious pass situation.
It's 3rd down and 9 now for William Brown. The freshman lets it go. Oh, and it's nearly intercepted. Cameron Kinley had his hands on it.
And you see Nash coming in off that right side, and then who else but Hudson Sullivan, as you get what would be a Sam Mike blitz in most defenses coming in there. William Brown never sees it the entire way, still stands and delivers, but the throw was just off enough between him and his receiver to now give the ball to Navy again with a one-score game created by that block PAT return for 2 points.
Jamie Sickville is the punter for SMU. C.J. Williams tells his teammates to get out of the way, and it will roll inside the 20-yard line. And now with 8.5 minutes or so remaining, Navy down by 7. Will get its offense back on the field, trying to stay atop the West Division. Second year in a row, SMU and Navy in a tight one last year after leading all but the final 3 minutes of last year's game against SMU. Navy needed a last-second field goal from J.R. Osborne to win the game, 43-40. Mids fans know that 18-yard game winner qualified Navy for a bowl game for the 14th time in the last 15 years. Today, Coach Dykes, coaching in his first SMU-Navy game, has the lead, but with 8:25 to go, trying to lead SMU to a win over the midshipmen for the first time in 20 years.
Garret Lewis still in command. Again, Malcolm Perry took a big shot in the first half that sidelined him. Came back for a little bit, but ultimately off the field. And still waiting to see if Zach Abey makes his way back onto the field, the former quarterback turned wide receiver who we saw limp off after an attempted trick play earlier in this half.
Two of Navy's biggest stars not on the field as we come down to the key stretch of this game. Here goes Garret Lewis, and he's got the first down across the 30-yard line. Eric Sutton made the play for the Ponies defense, but that gives the Naval Academy a first down.
And you saw Anthony Gargiulo leading the way out on that one, and it's really incumbent on a lot of these guys. Yes, Garret Lewis is a senior. Yes, he's been around in a lot of key situations, but he's still not your full-time guy. And so as the captain on this team, the way Anthony Gargiulo is, you and the rest of this group have to lift him up and be better around him.
Another first down play for Lewis, and he pops his way out of bounds near the 45-yard line. One thing the coach Niamato told us during our conference call was that they use 2 huddles in practice. And so even though Lewis isn't maybe the first or even the second team quarterback, because AB gets a lot of the reps too, everybody on that offense gets reps.
And the advantage of the way they've operated up front with their offensive line is you probably had a chance to work with a lot of these different guys. Ford Higgins, their center, who's played all over this line, really sets the pace and the standard for this group up front and is a great asset for his quarterback.
There goes Lewis again, and he picked up about 4 yards, under 7 minutes to play. That was McQueen that came up to make the tackle on the midshipman quarterback.
And called his own number 3 straight times. And this is Navy lulling you into sleep. These haven't been complicated plays. There hasn't been a bunch of the motion and trickery that we've been used to. There's no sleight of hand. It's been quarterback run after quarterback run.
Here's the pitch. C.J. Williams off to the races. Touchdown, Navy.
And Bill, this all goes back to what SMU defensive coordinator Kevin Kane told us yesterday, which is we have to be under 10 missed tackles a game or else big plays are going to happen. And you look on the outside here, we get the pitch, we get a missed tackle, we get 3 missed tackles, and we are off to the races. And no one's catching C.J. Williams in that situation.
52 yards later, it's a touchdown, and the extra point by Mooring ties it up. They go 81 yards in just about 2 minutes, and we've got ourselves a tie ball game in the American. SMU 23 and Navy 23, thanks to the touchdown run by C.J. Williams.
So the game was tense, all right? 7 seconds left, down 3, 4th and 3. Only option he has, field goal, tie it up, force OT.
Oh my God, this is too good.
But Will decided to run an even crazier play. Will's play call became legendary. Quavo loved it so much, name dropped him on a track. I'm a legend like Will. Will's play call got its own ESPN 30 for 30 and a chain. I'm a legend like Will.
Heck of a play call.
Rated E for everyone.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chick-fil-A nuggets make dinner delightful.
Now that's smart.
Well, tonight on ABC, we've got a top 20 matchup. We'll be talking about Stanford and Oregon coming up in a moment. But first, the kick. And it's a pooch kick coming to the near corner. And it goes out of bounds. That'll be a break for SMU. A big mistake, and that's going to...
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Big mistake. It'll give SMU the ball on the 35. Now let's talk about the game tonight in Eugene. Stanford and Oregon on ABC. Stanford's won 4 of the last 6. The last 2 haven't been close. Stanford's defense has been darn good. That'll be tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Top scoring defense in college football for Stanford. Going to have their hands full.
First down and 10 after the kickoff goes out of bounds. How will SMU respond now in a tie ball game? That was Pittman bringing down Robertson on the play. He's done a lot of everything. 2 touchdowns today for the SMU receiver, returner, in that instance, runner.
And you wonder if SMU should get back to some of that pace we saw in the opening drive here. This Navy defense found its footing.
Ooh! West gets knocked down hard behind the line by Polu.
Jarvis Polu, the leader of this defensive line. You see knifing through there. This is a guy with 30 consecutive starts to his name. And the benefit of that experience showing up. Again, you've got an SMU program that's trying to build an identity and a Navy program that knows exactly who it is on display in the last stretch of action in this game.
3rd and 11 now for William Brown, the true freshman who's making his very first collegiate start today. Hit as he throws. And it's deflected and caught at midfield. Boy, Juan Haley was thinking he was going to grab the interception, but the freshman Judah Bell took it right away from him, Mike.
Wow. Just an unbelievable individual effort. Simple route here. William Brown makes a throw under duress, and his receiver wants it more.
Here's West on 1st down. He gets 3.
You see right here, Alon Nash comes in on the play, and then Bell, who led the nation in receiving his senior year of high school. How about this? Plays electric guitar, acoustic guitar, piano, stand-up bass, electric bass, drums, and cello. Played the defense like a fiddle on that last play.
I knew that was coming.
You were ready for it, right?
One-man band, yes.
I am just a monster.
2nd down. Brown throws it short again. That's Ryan Becker's first catch of the day. Ahead to about the 42-yard line. Cromartie tracked down the SMU tight end. And Cromartie slow in getting up after making the play.
Pointing to his shoulder there. You hate to see it. Nizaire Cromartie, a guy who made the switch from defensive end to that Raider, that outside linebacker spot, and has really been a factor on this defense. A guy with some pass rush ability who they're working on him doing things in coverage, and in this situation you see him out in the area of coverage trying to make a tackle, lands right on that shoulder.
He tried to run off the field but only made it about 1/3 of the way across before he went down. And Nizaire Cromartie from Greensboro will be helped off the field. Well, you know the ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN. Download now and start your free trial. Four minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Navy and SMU, who gave us such a treat a year ago in Annapolis, putting on another nail-biter today in Dallas. 3rd and 2 now for Will Brown. Brown lets it go, and nobody home. It lands incomplete. 4th down.
And now if you're SMU, you've got to pin them back here and let your defense go to work. Put them in the shadow of their own end zone again, where you saw Garret Lewis made a mistake earlier that led to points. Two of SMU's 3 touchdowns have come off Navy fumble recoveries, or excuse me, Navy fumbles that SMU has recovered. It's been a great source for you today. Let your full team in all 3 phases help you get this win.
Sackville, the left-footed punter. Fair catch called for and taken by C.J. Williams. So now it is Navy's turn in a tie game with 3:42 remaining. 23-23. SMU is 0-3 on the season. It has played a really difficult schedule. This is its conference opener and a chance to reset for SMU, Coach Dykes and his kids.
This is, and we've talked about it over and over again, but as you're trying to build an identity, how's this for an identity for Navy? Close game right now, tie ball game in the fourth quarter. 58 of Coach Niumatalolo's 136 games have been decided by one possession, including 16 of the last 30. This is where Navy lives and thrives.
Garret Lewis on first down. Stays on his feet, crosses the 21-yard line. It looked like he was down, but Lewis kept the legs moving. Elijah McQueen ended up making the play. Navy has won an awful lot of games over the last couple of years.
And as we get down under the 4-minute mark now, you're going to see a lot of SMU ripping at the ball like that as they're checking on Navy offensive lineman on the play. Number 57, Jake Hawk, who had the ankle injury last week that kept him sidelined. But Bill, you're going to see a lot of SMU's defense ripping at the ball in these scrums, trying to force something as the clock starts to wind down on this game. That's where Navy could pick up a lot of extra yards. If you're busy ripping away, this is a great ball security team more often than not. And while you're busy ripping away, their legs are churning, their line's pushing in there, and that's what gets you those yards that could ultimately end a game earlier.
And Navy's put it on the ground 3 times already today. We've seen that. Second down and 3. There's Nelson Smith. He's got the first down. Jordan Williams, the linebacker, pushed him back. A year ago, this came down to a field goal on the game's final play. A tight one, and Navy escaped on its home field with the win after Osborne hit the field goal. It may come down to the final seconds again in 2018. From the 26. There goes Lewis again, and he's pushed out of bounds by him.
Lewis getting much more comfortable as a runner, especially going to his right. This SMU defense is starting to creep down, defending with that in mind. You've got a long length of the field to go with 2 minutes and 45 seconds. You're going to need a big chunk at some point. You have to imagine it's going to be Garret Lewis turning it loose with his arm here soon.
Corner Eric Sutton appears to be cramping up a little bit and goes down. One thing that Coach Dykes talked about, it has been really hot here in Dallas. He said when we started open camp, we were practicing at 8 o'clock in the morning, and our practices were really sharp. We looked like a great football team. Once school started, we have to practice in the afternoon, and it's so hot. He said 4 o'clock practices have really hurt us.
Said the toughest decisions you have to make as a head coach down here especially are how you're going to practice your team, how much hitting you're going to do, what the body of practice looks like with that heat in mind. They've got the new indoor facility under construction that's really going to take a lot of weight off, but he said there's no doubt it has absolutely hurt our football team.
They've had a lot of guys banged up, and they played some really tough people. North Texas, an outstanding team. We saw what they did at Arkansas last week. The TCU game was close at the half. The Michigan game was close at the half. Their self-inflicted penalties have hurt, and a lot of injuries have banged up SMU early. But today it is their conference opener, and with 2:43 to go, it's a tie ball game.
And we see it all throughout college football. You get a lot of these layup games in the first few weeks of the season before you hit your conference schedule. SMU is going to come into it and not getting a win, but hardened by a lot of those situations, encouraged especially by the last couple of games against big-time opponents like TCU and Michigan, where they displayed that toughness that Sonny Dykes wants to be the hallmark of this program. Mental and physical toughness displayed throughout the entire 4 quarters of a game.
Sutton is being helped off the field. There's no question SMU's got some tough kids. We saw that last week up at Michigan. They played really well against a team that was much bigger, and then particularly on the offensive line.
Held them scoreless for a quarter and a half in that
game. Garret Lewis right near the first down marker. Jordan Williams made the tackle. They will move the sticks again.
First down, Navy.
Lewis did not pitch. He thought about it. It's well defended by SMU.
Well, now the helmet comes off, so who are you going to put in at quarterback?
Lewis has to leave unless they want to use a timeout. That would be the only thing that Navy can do at this point with 2 remaining. going to be Dalen Morris coming in for this play at quarterback. Dalen Morris. He'll be the fourth quarterback Navy will have used today. And Morris gets submarined on that second down play.
And I tell you, whatever else happens this drive, all you were worried about there, get the exchange from under center, make sure you protect the ball in the back half of that play, because if you're Navy, depending on how this play goes, 4 down territory is nothing you're unfamiliar with, especially in this area of the field, this time of the game. If you can get it close to the sticks there, it would not be a place that Coach Niumatalolo is a stranger to going for it.
3rd and 8 for the Naval Academy. SMU needs a stop to try to get the ball back. Here's Lewis, escapes one tackler. Lewis picks up the first down. The biggest play of the game by the senior quarterback, Garret Lewis. How did he get away from that defense?
We thought that pass might be coming in one of the biggest downs of the game. They were ready to let Garret Lewis do what he does best. And something similar we saw from Malcolm Perry earlier in the game. Now, didn't quite have the legs to make it as long a run after, but a big first down.
Lewis gets knocked down behind the line, and quickly Navy calls timeout after Delonte Scott made the tackle. That stops it with 51 seconds remaining.
And you saw a good little bit of learning from Garret Lewis there, who was trying to dip underneath the tackle, looked like he was getting ready to try and flip it out there, and thought better of it, said, you know what, I fumbled in this situation earlier in the game in a time that was devastating to our team. I'm going to take this loss here, understanding we have 2 timeouts still at our disposal, and we've got the chains on our side still. We're Navy. This is 4 down territory now. 2nd and 12 is nothing to us.
We're tied with under a minute to go. Last year in Annapolis, it came down to the very, very last play of the game, and Osborne's kick as time expired give Navy a 43-40 victory at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Today, Garret Lewis in relief of Malcolm Perry, who was held to a career-low 33 yards rushing. On the run, C.J. Williams knocked down. Inbounds, they say. The clock will run after Clemens made the tackle. Navy has 1 timeout remaining.
Time continuing to tick off. Probably going to have to take a shot through the air right here if Navy wants a chance of getting in field goal range.
Lewis to the air, and it's incomplete. And now the midshipmen are going to punt it away, play for overtime, or at least try to get it to overtime. And I'm not so sure that SMU won't take that now as well, barring a blocked kick here or a Proche punt return.
If you're Navy, you better get this kick out of bounds. If you give James Proche a chance at this ball with 20 seconds left, you're going to be sick.
Proche's going to field it on a bounce. How far can Proche go? There goes Proche in open field. And he's just tripped up on the 38-yard line with 6 seconds to go. Everyone from Annapolis to Dallas holding his breath as Proche saw open field.
Steve Satchel might be your player of the game on that one. Number 64 out there as part of the punt team, a reserve offensive lineman making that play in space. That is a monumental play that looked like exactly what we talked about. You kicked the ball to Proche, you were about to get exactly what you deserve, and instead the effort play from the big fella.
Steve Satchel. He'll win an award in the team meeting this week, regardless of how this game
The Peisman Trophy Committee better pay attention. I understand it wasn't a score, but that's a great play by a large man.
Over the middle, and really well done there to take the knee. That'll stop the clock on a timeout with 1 second left, or 1 second left. Proche caught it, took the knee, and SMU calls time. 1 second remaining.
What do you got dialed up here? Do you try and take a shot and just see if you can get your guys down to the end zone, make a play on the ball? Do you get it in the hands of Proche or Robertson, your guys that are so dynamic in the middle of the field, and say, you know what, we'll turn this into one giant punt return, one giant kick return, and see if Navy's defense is up to the task?
Well, we'll see what kind of arm Will Brown has. 3 Navy defenders along the line of scrimmage. The other 8, they're all standing essentially in Fort Worth. They're on the other side of the field by the end zone. Will Brown throws it as far as he can. Deflected, and it goes out of bounds on the final play of the fourth quarter. End of regulation. SMU and Navy are tied at 23 in Dallas. In our American Conference opener for SMU. Overtime is next.
So many snacks, so little time.
Second year in a row, Navy and SMU putting on a thriller. Today in Dallas, we're tied at 23, going to overtime. How did we get here? Navy was down 7 when C.J. Williams ran this 52-yard touchdown to tie it up.
Making everybody miss coming out here and stepping up big. Garret Lewis in the game for you because of the injuries to Malcolm Perry, to Zach Abey. And the rest of this team stepped up around him. You had the big blocked PAT for the 2-point return earlier to make that one-score game even possible. Now we get ready for college overtime.
We'll start with the flip of the coin. Each team gets a possession from the opponent's 25-yard line. And again, if you're following this closely, you know winning the toss here is huge. And starting with the third overtime, you got to go for 2.
Time period. If we're tied at the end of that period, we will continue until we no longer have a tie. Each team will have 1 timeout per period, and timeouts do not carry over to subsequent periods. The winner of the toss will choose offense, defense, or the end of the field on which we will play. Navy, you're the visiting team. Same coin as before. Heads, tails. What is your call? Tails is the call. It's heads. SMU, you want to go defense? Which end of the field do you want to play? SMU won the toss. They will play defense. Navy's ball, first down on the south end of the field. Good luck.
Well, there we go. So all time, Navy is 7-4 in overtime games. They beat San Jose in a triple overtime game in 2013. SMU 4-12 all time in overtime games. And for Coach Dykes, looking for his first victory, is the SMU head coach going to have to work a little OT to get it on his home field to beat Navy today.
College overtime, just pure offense, direct inject down in this area of the field. And for both defenses, it's an adjustment now. Navy, you know it's 4-down territory more than likely automatically for this group, especially when they get in short. They're not a stranger to making big plays, even in a time where a field goal in that battle can keep you in the game. Coach Niumatalolo and these guys know that eventually talent wills out if you keep it on the field long enough, and Navy knows it's always going to be operating at somewhat of a talent deficiency.
Garret Lewis, though, is the quarterback in place of Malcolm Perry, who was knocked out of the game. So was Zach Abey, 2 of Navy's biggest stars. One thing that you have to keep in mind, Navy is perfect this year in the red zone. First down run. There's C.J. Williams to the 24. And that was Jordan Williams of SMU that made the tackle. This is the part of the field where Navy this season has been at its best.
Dominant at this, tops in the country in this area once they get inside the 20 here. But they're operating without their usual signal caller. They're operating without a guy that, like we talked about, can erase bad situations. Can Garret Lewis erase bad situations when they arise?
Lewis gets ahead to the 22-yard line on the second down run. Kevin Johnson, the tackle. And it's third down now for Garret Lewis, the senior from Alabama.
Look at Kyron Mitchell in that defense. That linebacking core sets the tone for this defense. What they want to be is defined by situations like this. You've got to put that consistent pattern on tape this is a big moment where you start it.
Garret Lewis fakes the pitch and runs. Lewis has the first down at the 15-yard line. Demeric Garrett keeps it going for the Mids.
More student body right. The great block by Anthony Gargiulo, just getting enough of them on the edge. And what we've seen, it's been Garret Lewis and the quarterback keeper. Less of the option looks and more of just throw student body in front of the quarterback and let him make a play.
Gargiulo's going to try to run inside the 10, pinballing his way. He picked up about 5 on that play. Shane Haley, the linebacker, the sophomore, made the play defensively on the rugged Anthony Gargiulo.
And before we mentioned it, does all this heat, do all these snaps on the field start to add up for an SMU defense that was missing tackles in the end of this game, that allowed that C.J. Williams run off of that situation? Does that present itself here for another big play?
Lewis on the option keeper. Near the 5, but short. It'll be third down for the Navy team.
4-yard gain. Third down.
You see the SMU offense on the sideline watching intently right now. They've got to make sure they're mentally focused. You always assume you're going to have to be dealing with going out there and having to score. Don't let the emotion of this situation influence what you've got to go do next.
Lewis on the sneak on 3rd and short. And he's got the first down. First and goal now for Navy. They are batting 1,000 on the year inside the red zone. 15 for 15. And 12 of those are touchdowns.
Rushing offense, ball control, and playing a clean game. Those are the hallmarks of Navy football. Hasn't been as clean today, but everything else has been there.
Lewis stretching inside the 3, and the Ponies pulling back. It'll be second down and goal. McQueen wasn't going to let go.
No, and they've really simplified the offense down here because we've seen Garret Lewis has had some difficulty executing their normal triple option attack. Certainly the fumble down when they were backed up near their own end zone was a problem, but you've seen a couple of high pitches, a couple of questionable decisions made over the course of what can be a complicated offense if you're not as used to running it.
Navy, first and final period.
Navy's going to call timeout. And the coaches will have a chance to visit before this big second down and goal play from the 1. Coach Niumatalolo was talking about the advantage he has of being Navy for such a long time. And he said one of the biggest things, how much he's learning now from his son, who's a player at Utah.
We actually had earlier in the season and got to see that, but you're right, the best coaches and ones like Coach Niumatalolo that have been at their spot for so long do is adjust and adapt and become better, and that's going to benefit them down the stretch because they've got a daunting schedule to finish the season. 5 of their final 6 games this year are either on the road or at a neutral site. No one else in the country doing that.
Second and goal for the Mids. Lewis on the keeper. And he did not get in. It'll be third down and goal.
And this is a spot in the field that plays right into the hands of what these SMU linebackers want to do. These guys want to come screaming down the hill. You've got an area where now you've simplified what Navy can do on offense. There are fewer things to keep track of, especially when you've just been running some variation of a quarterback pull and dive. Do they have the guts to hand it off to one of these slot backs to get it in the hands of C.J. Williams, of Taj Malloy?
This isn't their game. They're without Aby and they're without Perry. But Lewis gets it in. Touchdown Navy. They take the lead here in overtime.
We mentioned sometimes triple option football can look complicated. Sometimes it can be very simple. And we saw this when Zach Aby, who's been their goal line quarterback for this young season so far, was in. A lot of the same with Garret Lewis on this drive. Asking him to shoulder the load, accepting the responsibility behind a surge from his offensive line.
Bennett Mooring, who's from Bentonville, Arkansas, has hit all 15 of his PATs this season. And now all 16. So Navy takes the lead here in OT, 30-23. And now it'll be SMU's turn with the ball.
And
the
the
story
SMU
today
offense
has been this gentleman, right?
They've got options, man. They've got options all over the field. Reggie Robertson has been sensational in all three phases, as has James Proche. We've seen both of these guys light it up. Robertson here breaking it open on the kickoff return that he took for a touchdown. Helped lift SMU early in this game.
From the 25, in space. And the new quarterback is Ben Hicks. And he dumps it off to Braeden West. So how about that here in overtime? Coach Sonny Dykes going to his junior Hicks at QB for the first time today.
Hicks, the record holder for career touchdowns, responsible for at SMU with 55 to his name. A guy who had struggled giving it away some in the early portion of this season. But Coach Dykes sat down with him and said, the Ben Hicks era isn't over at SMU. We're going to need you to win football games.
They need him now. Hicks the quick slant. It's caught, but not much happening there. Whereas Polu came in to make the play defensively. Now it's third down.
Jarvis Polu's had some plays today. Had the blocked PAT that led to the return for 2 points there, but does such a great job tracking the ball. You see the experience there. Recognizes the tunnel screen on the outside, stops his rush, puts his foot in the ground, and makes a big play.
My mistake. Second down. Second down and 8 now for Ben Hicks. There goes West. Down to the 7-yard line.
Braeden West with the carry.
Great block by the tight end, Ryan Becker. You see hipped in the backfield, coming across the formation. You'll see him starting at the right side of your screen, comes across, leads up here on the linebacker, and just holds his block long enough to get West a chance at some extra yards.
Now it's third down. West gets near the 5, but he is short.
And we've seen plenty of 4th and 1 action inside the red zone where SMU has gone for it today. And this is where I think you lose out a bit, not having William Brown on the field for you as a guy who is a viable run threat and who's a big body to use in this situation.
If Navy gets the stop, it wins. SMU needs the touchdown and the extra point to tie. Hicks hands it off. West stretches forward. And the spot appears to be good at this point, but they're going to stop the clock initially.
Braeden West with the carry.
That is about as close as humanly possible. And again, this is where you want it in the hands of your offensive line, in the hands of Braeden West in short yardage, the way it's been all day today.
They're going to bring out the sticks and measure now. On 4th and 1.
You see Juan Haley and the rest of this defense rallying to the ball, a stalemate up front.
And he did get the first down, and SMU is still alive.
Bill, when they tell you football's a game of inches, it's the most overused cliche in sports, but you see it pop up at a situation like that. 4 or 5 inches from 0-4, now have a chance still to not only get your first win of the season, but to get your first win in this series after 8 straight by the Naval Academy.
SMU hasn't beaten Navy since 1998. And now Ben Hicks off the bench here in overtime trying to tie the game. West on 1st and goal. Gets plugged up the middle by Jackson, Pittman and company.
West with the carry.
Can't say enough good things about this Navy linebacking core today and the way they've bowed up. It's been very clear the game plan when you had a young quarterback in there, and even now with Ben Hicks, has been to try and dominate running the football into the teeth of this defense. And Braeden West broke some big runs right up the middle to start this game. But you look at Hudson Sullivan and Taylor Heflin and the job they've done since then, really clogging up those rushing lanes inside.
From LaForce, 2nd and goal now. To the air, Hicks lets it go. Proche, the leaping touchdown grab. And SMU is going to go for 2 and the win. But first, the touchdown grab by Proche.
Ben Hicks has sat here all game and watched the freshman start in his place. Ben Hicks, who has meant about as much to this program as anyone they've had come through. And he steps in overtime and delivers that throw to keep you in this game. That's why he's got that C on his chest right there. That's why no matter what his role in the game is going to be, you know it's going to be a positive factor. You know it's going to be a positive influence.
He completed all 3 of his passes on that touchdown drive here in overtime, including that one to James Proche. And now they'll go for 2. Try to win here in overtime. It was in November of 1998. That's the last time SMU beat Navy.
And again, this isn't a surprise for people who are used to watching Ben Hicks around here. He's 2nd in career passing yards in SMU history, 3rd in total offense, leads all active AAC quarterbacks in completions and touchdowns. This guy's played a lot of great football, and it looks like they're going to give him a chance to win it.
For the win for SMU, going for 2 in overtime. The final play of this game, a 2-point attempt.
Big man at the bottom of your screen.
The throw to the left side. It is caught. 2-point conversion. Hunter Thetford wins it for SMU.
The referees getting together as pandemonium on the field. SMU celebrating what they believe is a win. The referees trying to get together because you had a lot of moving parts on that last play. You have an offensive lineman outlined up in the slot.
Adam Savoie is the referee. Are they looking at the formation or the motion before the snap?
Has to be. So you had a 6th offensive lineman on the field. A guy out there usually in that situation, depending on where he's lined up, has to declare eligible. You saw them burst. All the players moving at once, getting in a different formation. You see a big body in the slot on the bottom of the screen. And in those situations, the execution on the offense is so important because you are a yard from being on or off the ball, eligible or ineligible, in a way that can take back what was an unbelievable play design and execution, narrowly getting that ball over the outstretched hands of the defender to Hunter Thetford.
SMU thinks it has won this game here in overtime. But was the formation on that 2-point play legal?
And by design from the offense, you want to get up there and run that as fast as you can. You don't want the defense to have a chance to recognize, understand what's going on, and adjust. But the referees also have that same difficult problem. And you get things happening at such a high rate of speed out there with both of these teams, and then you combine it with a look you haven't seen all game, one that's atypical. Now you've got to take the proper time to sort this out. This is a big decision. We know what's at stake. We know what's been hanging in the balance here. You saw that celebration, how much it means to this SMU team and the fans in attendance.
SMU has been waiting 20 years to beat Navy. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
And I was fortunate. I got a chance to be a guest referee at the South Carolina spring game and got to go behind the scenes on some of this process. And they would always rather the officials take a little longer, wait an extra second to throw the flag, wait an extra second to get help from video review, try and make sure you're making the best decision possible.
The Navy players, while the officials meet on the right side of your screen, the Navy players are on the field defensively. They think they're going to get another shot here to stop them.
Just going to be a question of whether it was a legal formation or not, because he wasn't downfield. You saw him back off the line of scrimmage for that purpose.
Now they're going to go to the video review, and we will wait a little bit longer as Adam Savoie, the American official, comes over. It is a scoring play, so it can be reviewed. Was it a legal formation? Roy Reynolds and Wayne Pollard are the replay officials.
So the way it works out, you've got to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage in any given time, and that's what the referees are looking for at the start of every play, which is, do they have enough guys behind, 4 guys in the backfield at that point. It gets complicated when you've got an offensive lineman out there, a big guy wearing a number that's not normally eligible in those situations that you have to keep track of.
So we're looking for 4 guys behind the line of scrimmage, correct?
Correct. So you've got the 5 offensive linemen on the line. You've got the receiver at the bottom of the field on line. You see him checking with the referee there, and it looks like your wide out at the top of the screen is back a yard off the line, so that would give you 1 with him, 2 with the tight end, 3 and 4 with the quarterback, and you should be eligible in that situation. You should be, should say legal in that situation.
So that's what the replay officials are looking at right now. They're not looking at necessarily the play. It's a freeze frame. They're looking at exactly what you're looking at. Is that a legal formation on the 2-point play for SMU? If so, that gentleman, Hunter Thetford, the junior tight end, is going to be the happiest big man on campus tonight. And what a story it would be for Ben Hicks to come off the bench and lead them to an overtime win. But they may not be done yet.
And the absolute right call by the officials in going to the video review. Make sure you get this right.
How excruciating is it for the 2 head coaches to have to wait and go through this?
Oh, it's brutal because it's out of your hands now. You've spent all game trying to control.
After further review, play is legal. 2-point conversion is good.
And SMU can celebrate again.
Delayed reaction, but I have a feeling it's still going to feel just as good in that post-game locker room for SMU.
And how about for that gentleman, Ben Hicks, who comes off the bench. He was told last night that Will Brown would be the starter, but he comes in overtime and leads SMU to the win.
Go back and looking at this 2-point conversion again. Going for it already. But you've got big 57, Chad Pursley, down there in the slot on the right side, waving his hands, clearly trying to cause the distraction over there. Don't mind the man behind the curtain as Hunter Thetford flares out to the right. And still the defense is there, almost has it covered, just gets out over those outstretched hands. And you've got a defining moment in the early portion of this Sonny Dykes SMU program.
His first victory as the head coach of SMU is a conference win over Navy. Going for 2 in overtime. And Sonny Dykes gets the win, 1-0 in the American.
A great start to conference play after what we said was a daunting non-conference schedule to start the season. The only team to face 2 then top 25 opponents in those first 3 weeks, and now they get the payoff.
So SMU 1-0 now in the American. Navy drops to 1-1. Once again, our final score in overtime: SMU 31 and Navy 30. For Mike Olick, I'm Bill Roth saying so long from Dallas. Now let's go to Chris Carter in the studio.
And for